Hot News, I'm Mel Usher.
The 2024 Mitsubishi Triton comes with 10 years warranty, plus 3 years free servicing, only at Agostino Mitsubishi.
A man has been arrested following a fire in the city this afternoon. Police and MFS crews were called to a unit block on Carrington Street around 12:30 after reports the front door of the unit was ablaze. The fire caused minor damage and was extinguished prior to firefighters arriving. The occupants were not hurt. A 62-year-old local man has been charged with arson. He's been refused bail and will front court tomorrow. Uncertainty grows for the state's tomato industry, hit hard by a plant virus. Hundreds of workers are being offered assistance with multiple local producers locked down and in quarantine. Primary Industries Minister Claire Scriven says it's still unclear how the virus got here.
The tracing work has been happening. It could have been someone travelling overseas and coming back. It could have been through a seed line. There's lots of different options. And that's the nature of biosecurity issues in the world these days. There's more travel, there's more trade. And so these issues are arising more and more.
Security experts say Israel won't be deterred by a statement from Australia, the US and European Union calling for a ceasefire in Lebanon. The countries are calling for an immediate 21-day ceasefire to negotiate an end to the conflict. The statement says the fighting is intolerable and presents an unacceptable risk of a broader escalation in the Middle East. But Director of Strategic Analysis Australia, Michael Shoebridge, says it won't make much difference.
This looks to me like it's what these country leaders have to say, but it's not something that Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu or Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah will be listening to.
The federal opposition says it will not change negative gearing if it wins the next election, despite support for reform from some of its own MPs. Treasury is examining a potential overhaul of property tax concessions. The Prime Minister says it's not his priority at the moment, but some Labor and Coalition backbenchers believe change is needed. Liberal leader Peter Dutton says the current settings work well. The US House Speaker, Republican Congressman Mike Johnson, has announced additional funding for the Secret Service. It follows 2 apparent assassination attempts on US presidential candidate Donald Trump.
We are providing Donald Trump with the protection that he needs in the face of dangerous threats of would-be assassins and terrorist regimes like Iran. $231 million will be dedicated to the protection of presidential candidates. It is contingent upon the Secret Service's complete cooperation with our oversight investigations over these assassination attempts.
Katy Perry says she's grateful to have the opportunity to perform in front of 100,000 people at the MCG during Saturday's Grand Final. She'll perform some of her classic hits along with a song from her new album. Perry fronted the press at the venue today and says she's looking forward to it.
I wouldn't call it nerves. I think nerves are a product of not being prepared. Butterflies are preparation and timing and hard work and all that stuff, and then it's the celebratory effect, and there will be a lot of butterflies in the MCG.
Now turning to FIVEAA Sport.
Collect the 2024 AFL footy cards at Sports Card World Regent Arcade, Rundle Mall.
The Sydney Swans flew into Melbourne today on a private jet ahead of Saturday's Grand Final. The Brisbane Lions trained at Punt Road Oval before their captain's run at the MCG tomorrow. Port Adelaide assistant coach Luke Kelly's contract is not being renewed. He's been midfield assistant coach over the past 3 seasons, and young defender Tom McCallum won't be offered a contract for next season. Today's one-day cup match between SA and New South Wales has been abandoned due to rain, and Minwoo Lee says he's determined to win this week's President's Cup for his Australian teammates Adam Scott and Jason Day. The international team hasn't beaten the US since 1996. Now checking FIVEAA traffic.
Make a big difference to your outdoor entertaining area this summer. Visit bigdifference.com.au.
Got a crash in Blakeview on Main North Road near Anderson Walk. Parafield Gardens has a burst water main on the Salisbury Highway near Sophia Street. Also Woodville South Port Road near Woodville Road. In the city, roads are closed for the UniSA graduations this afternoon on Hindley Street. That's between Liverpool and Clarendon Street until 5:30 p.m. Check your speed Green Hill Road Burnside. Take your multi to new heights this AFL Grand Final with Sportsbet's AFL Player Form. Get all the stats you need on all your favourite players with Sportsbet. Conditions apply. Chances are you're about to lose. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Get the Toyota Forklift Advantage. Visit toyotamaterialhandling.com.au.
Sunny this afternoon, sunny tomorrow, 22. Saturday, a late shower or two, 26. Sunday showers easing down to 18. Right now it's 17 degrees. Now let's check what's happening on 9 News tonight.
I'm Kate Collins. Tonight, exclusive vision of a violent northern suburbs home invasion. 3 people armed with machetes attack a teenage boy. A father's harrowing call for help. Police hunting a gunman after a Burton shooting. Supermarket price crunch. The major chain 25% cheaper than others. And a giant free agent chooses the Crows. 9 News, your news, nightly at 6 on 9 and 9 now.
Streaming live via the 5AA Player app on DAB Digital Radio and on 1395 AM. This is 5AA, always Adelaide. The 5AA Sports Show.
Get around the little fella!
Stephen Rowe and Tim Jennifer.
It's a beauty!
7 after 4, a spectacular spring Thursday. Good afternoon. How good is it? Absorbing the lead up to Grand Final day, the players flying in today, the parade tomorrow. We'll be there live in Melbourne for the show, and teams are set to drop tonight for both the Lions and the Swans. It's peak of footy season. Rowey, Timmy G, good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon. Thank you, Sam. Thanks for joining us. Give us a call, 8223 0000. Love your interaction, and it is a cracking day. You're right. Finals is in there. This is it. We're peaking to the Grand Final this Saturday. We'll be heading over there to Melbourne tomorrow to soak up a bit of that atmosphere, and it's building nicely for both the Swans and the Lions fans as we get there. Now, Stephen Rowe, welcome. What a day. Does it remind you of the good old days when you played? Driving the streets, feeling like, this is it.
There is a certain warmth in the air and the cut grass. There's a smell.
Yeah.
There's hay fever. There's magpie swooping. There's all those things that get you into the last week of September. Sometimes our grand final was in October.
Well, most of the time it was.
Most of the time it was. Well, you would know that.
Weekend.
That's exactly right. So, yeah, look, it is. Again, going back to what I said the other day, I just have envy and jealousy because your team's not there. And I know you can't get there all the time, but when the two teams do get there, I don't go, well, look, well done, or gee, they'd have a sense of pride, or, yeah, they deserved it. It's, why not me? Why not me?
Well, no, we just had, I think, What About Me on just a minute ago.
Did we?
Yeah.
Shannon Knoll.
Shannon Knoll.
Shannon Knoll.
Yeah. Maybe he's rewriting that for you.
What about me? It isn't fair. I don't have enough. Yeah, that's my club.
There you go.
And I want to share. Can't you see?
Now, we're going tomorrow, but the players have arrived today. So both the Swans and the Lions, I think they're getting in a day earlier, which is not a bad tactic. Don't mind that. Probably both been there, done that. So Nick Blakey was asked, about the game itself, and he spoke about the young and the old of it, but at the end of the day, it's hard to win.
For those older boys, it's, is this the last chance at it type thing? So we'll be doing everything we can. Our young boys know that, as I said, I keep saying they're hard to get to and they're even harder to win.
Probably
True.
Luke Parker in that too. Would be a nice way for him to go out.
Wouldn't it ever?
Gee whiz, get on that dice again once more. And of course, opportunities always arise. There's always sad story. There's always a happy story in grand finals, and see who gets in and gets out. Well, unfortunately for Oscar McInerney, he's an out. But Darcy Ford, his replacement, happy to fill in.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, but yeah, as I said, excited for the opportunity and just trying to do my role. Sort of going through stuff with Grundy's sort of technique and just trying to prepare me as best as he can. It's been a great help.
Now, I heard you waxing lyrically with Stacey Lee about the pre-game entertainment.
Yes, I did.
You're a music aficionado.
Well, Katy Perry, she's got 4 songs. They're easy to pick.
She's got
I went boom, 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 boom.
20 that were right up there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so she's been quite successful. But she is going to be a neutral supporter, and she was sort of really pushed on the fact that, well, you have that big hit single, Roar. Will you actually sing it? Now, she said, well, there'll be no swanning around, and I will roar.
I am going to take the stage like a swan. I will expand. You will see my wingspan, but you will definitely hear me roar, okay? And I was always going to play that song, so you conspiracy theorists out there, jeez, stretch before you reach.
I'm going to use that. Stretch before you... What a call it gets in me. Stretch before you reach.
Is I love that. That's a great line. It's a line that I think we can use.
But the rumour was that because the Lions are in her number one song, Raw, she wouldn't be allowed to play.
Yeah.
She's playing Raw.
She's doing it.
This one. And Richmond, it's Lions. They're two different creatures, aren't they?
Well,
do Tigers roar?
They do, indeed.
Do lions roar?
Yeah, they do.
I thought a lion roared more than a tiger.
No, they all roar. Yeah.
Tigers roar too.
Oh, yeah. Bears roar as well. Yeah.
Do they?
Yeah.
Welcome to play school, everybody.
There's a bear in there. Had a chair as well. There are people with games.
Oh, that's gold.
Oh, that's deteriorated.
Well played, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
She was asked about the game itself, and she's trying to get her head around Australian rules footy, but she brought up a point that maybe you and I don't mind.
What I'm still trying to get over is that Melbourne has 10 teams and they're not here.
It's a problem.
It's just
for
the
some,
math. The math.
But definitely not for
Don't
Andrew
go into
Dillon.
that. Okay, the Swans.
Just
See,
on
that's
that.
great.
Yeah,
Someone loaded her
There's
up.
10 of them, yeah. But I think she probably was loaded up. But it's a good point. But the thing about it is, I reckon the fact that it is Sydney and Brisbane, you think back, we have made a whole opening round for the north of Australia, haven't we?
We did.
Deliberately to grow the game into those two states. And they've probably, like they said, Andrew Dillon's got no problem with it. They're probably sitting there going, unbelievable. Everything we could possibly hope for is there now as far as growing the game in those two states.
The AFL would be patting themselves on the back like there's no tomorrow. We got BT on for Channel 7. He'll call it. I bet you he says we're expecting a record TV audience. Because you think about it, up that eastern coast now, you got Sydney and Brisbane.
And they're involved. I like it. Hey, Channel 7 ran a story last night on Sid Draper. Now, we'll just have a listen first.
With Adelaide holding pick 4 in the draft and in dire need of young midfielders, many expect the Crows to pursue Draper. But it's understood the All-Australian under-18 junior star prefers a move to a big Victorian club. The Draper camp was alarmed by Adelaide's handling of Joshua Shelley at the end of the season, where he was dropped for the club's final game and called out by a number of the Crows' leaders.
Now, that was run last night. Of course, a lot of alarm bells rang and, a lot of accusations and the like. The thing about that is Channel 9 will run a story tonight with Sid, basically saying that that is not true. A die-hard Crows supporter loved to join Adelaide or any of the other 17 clubs. Now, that line in itself is very important, and I'll tell you why.
Why?
You will and could be accused of draft tampering if you were to single out a club that you either don't want to go to or you do want to go to. So it's a very fine line here, and that story could be, if there was any truth in it, it could be very damning to the draftee. And you don't want to be caught... you don't want to be caught messing with it, because if you do, I think Brett Chalmers was done years ago when he wrote a letter saying, "Don't pick me up and go to Collingwood."
Yeah. But a lot of kids have said, "I'd love to go to a big Melbourne club," or "I'd love to go to here," "I'd love to stay home,"
but
or "I'd love to."
At this point of the end of where the draft is only a month away, you're not doing that.
Well, we were driving home when that story broke, and I nearly drove off the road to think that the number one ranked kid, who's going to be around pick 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that vicinity, Crows have 4, didn't want to go to the Crows. I said that cannot be true. Now, if I was at the club and I heard that, whether you were Roo, whether you were Tim Silvers, whether you were Justin Reid or whatever, the footy, you would ring that management and say, "What in God's name is this? This cannot be true."
Who's to say that hasn't happened? And Channel 9 will run that story tonight with Sid himself.
He'll speak.
Now he is I am so glad that's not true. It can't be true.
Yeah.
So, there's smoke, there's fire. I don't want to hear any of that. It is not true. The kid gets picked at 4. He will go to the Crows in a big gun. He is a gun, Sid Draper. Number one pick as all the, what do you call them, the draft, phantom draft stuff.
Prospects and all that.
Everyone I've looked, they've gone Levi Ashcroft, number 1. That's a lock, father, son. They went to a Harvey Langford, Jager Smith, and then Sid Draper. So the Crows will get him.
Yeah, we'll see how
if he's there at 4, though, surely.
We'll see how that pans out without any funny business. I'll tell you what is true. There is a new Crows logo coming. Right. Now, there was one released today that I thought, personally, I think somebody's having a lend of us. They've put one out there. It looks a bit 90s. I think Sam Tugwell himself described it as the Microsoft Paint from 1998 Windows that it was designed with.
The one we've seen, they cannot possibly go with that.
Well, I reckon.
What executive and board would sign that off?
I'm saying I reckon it's a bit of sucker bait. I reckon that they put it out there.
Good.
They've said, hey, and let everybody run with it, and then they go, here's our logo. And it's a very swish new one, and off we go into the the millennium.
Yeah, so they're rebranding themselves.
They are, indeed. They are.
So off-field and on-field, a rebrand.
So we'll put that logo up on our Rowey and Timmy G
Twitter account.
So you can have a look at it if you haven't seen it so far, and just have a look and give us your thoughts on it, because it definitely looked 90s for mine. Okay. So, but give us a call anyway, 8223 maybe what should it look like?
Well, what about our big story? You haven't. It's your opener. I'm sorry to tread on your toes here.
Yes.
But we beat you.
Yeah.
We got Isaac Cumming. We beat you.
Did you?
Woohoo!
Play,
can you feel it?
You got
it. We beat you, mate. Now, okay, we played a bit more, but we got him.
No, well, that fell off my list. There you go.
See,
unbelievable.
We've got to celebrate the little wins, Crows people. They got Isaac Cumming. Now, you think they've got Isaac Cumming, a free agent. Cost you nothing.
He has chosen the Crows.
He has, which I think is great. They were tossing up between the two. He's a defender wingman. He's 26. His next 5 years will be his best. He's played 80-odd games. He's a senior lad. I reckon he's a ripper. If Taylor Walker thinks he's a ripper, yes, he is. Yep. Not a known goal kicker. I think he's only kicked 10 goals.
10 in his career, yep.
He's exactly what the club needs. A bit of class. He played in the finals. I thought he played okay too. So that's a great get. That's a great get.
Who not take the place of, but how does he fit into that back line currently?
Well, B. Smith's not there.
So you reckon it's a replacement there?
Well, I think so.
Yeah.
And he's a leader. In that 24, 25, 26, 27, 28 age bracket, they need these sort of guys. Hey, I read a text out on Monday, and it read like this. Rowey, my Port mate has bet me a green label that Isaac Cumming's going to Port. Should I take that bet on? His name was Ben.
You upped it.
I replied with exactly this. No, I'd up it to a blue label.
You did.
So I was all in on him getting to the Crows. So,
correct.
Ben, I hope you're getting a blue label Johnny Walker from your mate, and I steered you in the right direction.
Well,
boom.
right.
All due credit to myself.
Just before we take your calls, Port delisted Tom McCullum off their list. Yet to delist anybody else. The retirements of Mackenzie and Dixon. Coach Luke Kelly is departing, so they'll have to find a replacement there. And Doc Fisher stepped down after 15 years at Port Adelaide, but he'll still help out the incoming Chief Medical Officer as well. So still be around the club. So there's our news. Give us a call, 8223 0000.
Chris Davies will join us from Port Adelaide with more on how the exit meetings have gone and the season to wrap up 2024. Brian Taylor from Channel 7 ahead of the grand final. Caroline Wilson, of course. We've got Jason Ackermanis, Premiership great from the Lions, and the two AFLW girls, and Chelsea Bedell from the Crows and Gemma Houghton from Port Adelaide ahead of their weekend's games on Sunday. 19 after 4, 8223 0000. That's the number to get in touch.
Rowey and Timmy G on the 5AA Sports Show.
She's Melbourne's most connected footy journo. And each Thursday, Caroline Wilson joins Rowey and Timmy on the 5AA Sports Show. Thanks to Harvey Norman Clearance Centre. Cooking appliances, washing machines, dishwashers, TVs and more. 919 Marion Road, Marion.
City Discount Tires.
Get saving this month at City Discount Tires. Grab 3 Falcon Zig ZE 310R passenger car tires and get the 4th tyre absolutely free. Experience top-notch performance with exceptional grip on both wet and dry surfaces. Steer your way to citydiscounttires.com.au for even more great deals. City Discount Tires. We're driven by value.
City Discount Tires.
Steinborner Hyundai has always been well worth a trip, and now there's another great reason to visit. Hyundai's full range of hybrids. Steinborner Hyundai has a hybrid to suit every driver, from the hybrid i30, the Kona, the Tucson, as well as the all-new Santa Fe hybrid family-sized SUV. Experience the difference at Steinborner Barossa and Clare, with outstanding service and a great range of vehicles. And you'll see why. Steinborner Hyundai is well worth the trip. Steinborner.com.au.
I love our listeners' interaction. Rowey, it's Costa, not Ben, and I'm going to collect. There you go.
There you go. He's going to blue.
To a blue. Well done. Hey, keep the calls coming in. Lines available. Now, whether you're kicking goals today or in your prime, or maybe back in the day, you can rely on Complete Comfort every night. Complete Comfort make amazing mattresses, and they're built with these active zones that you can adjust in seconds. You can have a left hand and a right hand. Your wife can have one and you can have one. And I'm not going to bag that because Jodie's mum listens.
Good.
And these sort of reads get back to her.
Yeah, about time Nanny got onto you.
Come on, Nanny.
This is great news. And if you're still into your sports and activities, and if you've still got some of those injuries from the old days on the oval or the pitch or the court, well, this will really help you. And they look like an average bed, but I'm telling you, they're far from average.
They are first class. So if you're regularly being sent off for snoring, there's so many reasons why this quality bed will support you, and that's one of them. They've got to adjust at the click of a button. It's a huge investment, I think, in your well-being.
Absolutely. Visit completecomfort.com.au or visit their Wavell showroom to experience Complete Comfort beds for yourself.
Thinking of painting and don't know where to start?
We do, because we know paint at Crowey's.
So, visit Crowey's. And while you're there, join Crowey's Club to get 10% off everything.
We know paint at Crowey's.
When's school back?
2 weeks.
What are we going to do? I'm all out of activities.
The W?
I wish, but it's Tuesday.
For the next few weeks, the W is on every day but Monday.
Kids, put your shoes on. We're going to the footy.
See you at the W. 2024 NAB AFLW tickets are just $15 and under 18s go free. Visit women's.afl to find out more.
I'll see you at the W.
See you at the W.
At Coles, celebrate footy finals with great value on match day must-haves. Like Red Rock Deli potato chips, 150 to 165 grams, now half price at just $3. We're helping lower the cost of footy finals with great value, hands down. At Coles. Offer ends Tuesday.
Catching up with family and friends at home is always a special time. Make life easy with a welcome hand from your local Barnacle Bill. It's Barnacle Bill for seafood and much, much more.
Everyday items locked in at low prices for longer. There's more ways than ever to save at Foodland.
The 5AA Sports Show, Rowey and Timmy G.
Yeah, at the end of the day, Port Adelaide have got some decisions to make into the future about the way that we all need to take the club forward, and I'm not silly enough to know that at some point for us all the club needs to move on. I think I do a reasonable job, but equally this is professional sport, and and I want Port Adelaide to be as high performing team as we possibly can.
23 after 4, Chris Davies at Port Adelaide. Speculation on whether he will take a role at the AFL next season. We'll chat with him live on air at 4:30, so stay tuned. Maybe a little bit more convincing when he chats to us. Your calls next, 8223 0000. Let's check your roads. For Rossdale Homes, the custom home, 2-story and split-level specialists.
Residual delays after a crash in Blakeview Main North Road near Anderson Walk. Burst Water Main Parafield Gardens on the Salisbury Highway near Sophia Street. Heavy delays backed up to Eldersmith Road affecting inbound. Another one, Woodville South on Port Road near Woodville Road. In the city, roads are closed for the UniSA graduations this afternoon on Hindley Street between Liverpool and Clarendon Street. That's until 5:30pm. Beaumont Tiles, Australia's favourite tile specialist, have smashed trade prices effective immediately. Find a better price and Beaumont's will beat it by 5%. T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Unique Homestyle Food text. Barry says, have the Crows delisted anyone yet? Rowey?
Answer to that is no.
Okay. No worries at all. Let's go to Blakeview. G'day, Tony.
Hey, how you going, guys?
All right, buddy.
Yeah, look, Crow supporter, frustrated that, we're taking our time with the delistings and moving forward. Look at teams like Geelong. And it's funny, like teams like Geelong who just finished a prelim and they straight onto it. Got rid of Gary Rohan, get rid of all these guys who are actually decent players. But for whatever reason, our club just takes forever with everything. I was disappointed Lukosius going to Port. Obviously, that's great for Port, but a bit disappointed. Good news, obviously, with Cumming today, going with the Crows. So I'm like, okay, starting to feel good. Then I go on X, on Twitter, and I think it was Kane Corns who put a photo up of apparently the new Crows logo. I don't know if you guys have seen it or not.
Yes, we have, Tony, yeah.
They're not going to go with that, Tony. They
God, are you kidding me?
I know.
Yeah, I sort of...
Are you kidding me?
I don't know.
Taking the piss.
Tony, I thought it was a bit of sucker bait. I don't know. It seems like maybe somebody
They
leaked that on purpose.
go with that honestly,
Yeah.
I can't handle it anymore. I'm sorry, but if they can't even get a logo right, how the hell are they supposed to get anything else right?
Yeah. Tony, don't worry too much about Luco. In the end, it was going to cost a bit, and it would have been nice to get him. Not great, but nice to get him.
Maybe supplement to your needs.
Well, yeah, you got Tyler Welsh coming through, father-son, so, yeah. Let's wait and see the body of work at the end of the draft and trade period.
4:30 headlines coming up. Chris Davies from Port Adelaide and Brian Taylor.
The 5AA Sports Show with Rowey and Timmy G. David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
This is the biggest story in South Australia right now. Quarantines have been slapped on 3 South Australian tomato farms to stop the spread of a highly contagious virus. There's no human risk from the virus, and we've said that from the outset, but so people know, what it does is it causes deformities.
Adelaide's leading breakfast show.
It's a hell of a judgment call by PIVEAA because human behaviour being what it is, no one's going to buy a tomato that's clearly got a virus that changes the look of it.
Weekdays from 6 a.m. on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
When you're gone, who gets the things most precious to you? Like your highly valued comic book collection or your 1976 Tirana in mint condition. If you don't have a will, you'll never know. Donlan Lawyers specialise in wills and estate planning. From the simplest to the most complex, Donlan Lawyers will give effect to your wishes. For wills and estate planning, visit donlanlawyers.com. Hindmarsh Square, Adelaide, and Ocean Street, Victor Harbour.
5AA's Tech Talk with your host, Adelaide Tech Guy Richard Pascoe. Thanks to Harvey Norman Computers.
When you're updating your computer and you want the best value, Harvey Norman has the best deals and biggest range. On a small budget? No worries. The Asus VivoBook Go is the best price laptop under $400. It has a large 15.6-inch display, Intel dual-core Celeron CPU, 4GB of RAM and 128GB storage. It also includes Microsoft Office 365 for 1 year, or just $388. Want something with more power? They've got that too, and it's still under $900. The Acer Aspire Lite has an Intel i7 CPU, 16GB of RAM and 512GB solid-state drive. It also includes a large 15.6-inch Full HD display and Windows 11, all for only $898.
Check out this great offer at a Harvey Norman store near you.
Yes, Chris Davies very shortly. Stay with us, Port supporters, or footy supporters. Some big news coming. FIVEAA is an absolute treasure in the West. We know that. Do yourself an absolute favour. Just pop in for a mouth-watering lunch or dinner. Once you have, you'll be a repeat business.
Oh,
you go back again.
Correct.
And
it's
again,
probably
again,
just to
again.
see the staff because they're just so lovely.
They're brilliant.
Now, they've got the mouth-watering Italian cuisine, of course, the entire range of pizzas from the pizzeria. They're all magnificent now. Anthony fires that up in about a half hour, 5 p.m.
Yep.
So on your way home, just stop and say, hey, can I have a couple of those, Ant? No worries, you might have to pay for them.
You will. Besides the amazing food, I think the best part of FIVEAA has to be the warm, friendly family atmosphere they create there, and they really do. Rachel and Anthony, the entire team, they treat everyone like family. You go there the first time or 100 times, same.
No, good people.
I love that.
It's the perfect place for functions as well. So we're talking birthdays, christenings, engagements, sporting club celebrations. They can cater up to 200 guests as well with 3 separate areas available. How's that?
That's it. La Vida, open Tuesday to Sunday. Lunch and dinner, 342 Grange Road, Kidman Park. You know what? You'll love it.
Exceed expectations in the Volvo XC40 Special Edition. Includes 360-degree camera, 19-inch alloy wheels, leather interior and premium paint. All for only $59,990 drive away. Book your test drive today. Volvo.
This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Good afternoon, Mel Usher with the latest news headlines. A man has been charged with arson after a fire in Carrington Street at lunchtime. Australia has signed on to a joint statement demanding an urgent ceasefire between Israel and Lebanon. Katy Perry has been given a personalised Sharon ahead of her starring role in Saturday's Grand Final. And in sport, Lachie Hunter has called time on his career after 12 seasons across Melbourne and the Western Bulldogs. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Make a big difference to your outdoor entertaining area this summer. Visit bigdifference.com.au.
A crash in Ingle Farm on Montague Road near Bridge Road burst water main Parafield Gardens on the Salisbury Highway near Sophia Street. Also, Woodville South Port Road near Woodville Road. In the city, roads are closed for the UniSA graduations this afternoon on Hindley Street. That's between Liverpool and Clarendon Street until 5:30pm. Save big at Petstock. New everyday low prices on flea and worming treatments. Advocate Cat 4 or more kilos 6-packs save 31%. That's $41. Only at Petstock. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The 5AA forecast, clear tonight down to 7, sunny tomorrow 22. Right now it's 16. We'll have more news at 5 and as it happens on 5AA.
Everyday items locked in at low prices for longer. There's more ways than ever to save at Foodland.
The 5AA Sports Show, Rowey and Timmy G.
29 minutes to 5. Caroline Wilson coming up after 5 o'clock. BT, Brian Taylor, head of Channel 7's Grand Final coverage on Saturday. He will join us in about 15 minutes' time. We have the Grand Final team selections as well tonight for both the Swans and the Lions. And, of course, we love your calls, 8223 0000.
That it is. Well, it's a busy time of year.
Tough time too.
Well, yeah, it is a tough time because a lot of guys either end their career or it's ended for them, and it's a tough time, and these conversations aren't easy. But the GM of football at Port Adelaide, Chris Davies, has been doing a bit of that lately. G'day, mate. How are you?
Yeah, good, thanks, Tim. How are you, Stephen?
CD.
Appreciate your time, mate. I know you got a lot on. First of all, the chairman described it as a good year, not a great year. How did you assess 2024?
Yeah, well, I mean, look, we didn't achieve what we set out to achieve, and that was to win the premiership. So, on that metric, we didn't get to where we wanted to. I think there's still some value in feeling like there was a sense of achievement in the year when you consider, the performance in the minor round. But there's no doubt that we didn't quite get to where we set out to at the start of the year.
Do you guys, and I know you got a lot going on with the actual playing group, but when do you get together as a footy department and debrief that side of it?
Oh, look, we started that today, really, Tim, and we wanted to insert, that sense of, achieving something with the players as well. So there's no point going through the exit meetings and having, the group feeling like they can't have a level of satisfaction with what they achieved this year. So we've been mindful of trying to strike the balance there. I mean, and I think as you know, and as you have espoused over time, Port Adelaide is about winning, and where we got to this year, wasn't where we wanted to get to. But at the same time, it's better than a fair few of the alternatives, and we've got to keep looking at the ways that we're going to get better into the future.
Yeah, that was one of the things, obviously, in the debriefing that has been going on this week. Talking with Scott Campriali, and he sort of came out, I think Port have got to be a better turnover team. They've got to find opportunities between 0 and 30 metres and the mode and method of which they go into 50 to try and do that. That sounds nice and simple. How do you get together and come with that strategy of play moving forward for whatever personnel you got next year?
Yeah, I mean, I think the turnover game has become an increasingly important part of it at AFL level. There's no doubt that, teams who are able to defend well off turnover and also score, are ultimately the teams who are performing well. And we have been a good, a well-performing team over a decent period, and we were again this year. But, there's no doubt that we were found out in the Sydney game and also the Geelong game in that area. Some of it is about personnel, and obviously, with Charlie making the decision to retire, that might be a little bit easier to think about in 2025. But, it's not just about having the potency to score off of turnover. It's also being able to defend off of some of those turnovers, and that was probably the area in that Sydney game. They were able to take a lot of marks against us and march the ball upfield off of turnover in a way that we weren't able to deal with on the night.
I think in any business you say to yourself, was it a growth year? Was it a growth year for you?
Yeah, I think it was, Stephen. I'm choosing to look at this optimistically, I understand that people will, ultimately assess us as not, getting to the grand final and winning it. But I think that we can, if we choose to look at things optimistically, look at a group who is still relatively young, a leadership group who are getting better and still young. We've got to make some obvious changes now that, as I say, Charlie's pulling the pin, and we think that we've got, with Jack Lukosius potentially coming in, we think we've got a good fix to change the way that we move the ball inside 50. So I'm certainly happy to suggest that it's a growth year, even though our growth years seem to come off a far higher base than others.
And that's true, and you can twist any numbers the way you do. I'll be interested in how you see this one. You played 12 finals quarters in this finals campaign, and you won 2 quarters total, and you lost the same way in those 2 finals that you lost with your ball movement in the contest, as the same way you lost the year before.
Yeah, look, I'm not quite sure that that's the case. I think that, as you say, I guess you can break it down into quarters. Ultimately, games aren't won in quarters; they're won in 4 quarters of a game, and we were good enough to beat Hawthorn in the game that we did. But I'm certainly not going to sit here and suggest that we don't have things that we can work on. And as you mentioned before, the turnover aspect of our game needs to be sharpened up. Clearly with Todd and Dan and Faz out of that final game, we missed a little bit of our ability to move the ball. I'm certainly not going to, again, knock your view on that. I think that's real, and it's an area that of our game that we need to continue to hone into the future.
Hey, Chris, personnel changes so far. Mackenzie Dixon retired, Tom McCullum delisted. Will we expect more in the next few days? Is there a few more to come?
Look, the guys who are out of contract at the moment, Tim, we've said that they'll need to wait for a bit longer and probably through the trade period, to be honest.
Right.
So we'll assess, who we're able to potentially get in through the trade period. As I mentioned earlier, it looks like Jack Lukosius wants to come to Port Adelaide, so we've got to get a deal done for the Gold Coast there. We've got a few other irons in the fire, so there will be a little bit of wait and see for those players who are currently out of contract. I'm not going to suggest that we're going to move all of them on, nor will we be able to keep them all. So there'll be more changes, definitely.
Yeah.
But we'll have to wait until the end of the trade period for that.
No, understandable. Boki, when's he got to come back to you?
We will have that discussion probably another week or so. I imagine that Travis would want to be making some decisions over the next week. Certainly thought that Travis played better footy in 2024 than he probably did in 2023. So, that's not a suggestion that he should go on, but at the same time, it's acknowledging the work that he did as playing more as a wingman over those 2 years. I certainly think he's grown in his ability there, and we want to give him the right amount of time to think about what it is that he wants to do into the future.
You mentioned the Lukosius one. How difficult are some of those deals to get done? I noticed like last year, I think was the last day that we got the Ivan Soldo and Radigalia done. Those deals done. How difficult do you reckon one like that will be?
I mean, they're always difficult because you have competing interests. We want to bring a player in, and Gold Coast may not, want to necessarily lose him. So they're not easy, and increasingly, as my experience in the competition goes, there's far more deals which are linked as well. So most of the list managers know, what's going on around the competition. So even though the deal might look as simple as, what can we give to the Gold Coast, generally speaking, there are other clubs that get added to these deals in order to get them done. So, look, they're not easy. We've got a bit happening, obviously, with Jack and the potential for Ivan and Dan to be looking to move back to Victoria. So, we've got a fair bit to work through during the trade period.
You disappointed Dan chose to leave? He was on our Brekkie show not 4 weeks ago saying he's staying. What happened?
Well, it wouldn't be the first person in footy to change their opinion over time, Stephen, would it? I mean, I want to support Dan here in saying that, he has had a number of emotions. You can imagine, what he went through post, putting himself in the position that he did against Adelaide. Maybe not wanting that to be the final thing that he did for Port Adelaide, and equally, probably not wanting to become a distraction outside of what he needed to be, for our club. But I think people have got to maybe take a bit of a step back, because some of the people who are potting him are the same ones who change their opinions every week. So from my perspective, I'm happy to support Dan. We understand that his want right now is to go back to Victoria and play, but I think importantly, he knows, and he said this publicly the other day, that if the deal's not there for Port Adelaide, then he's happy to stay.
That's great. He's a team man, great fella too. Are you as supportive of Ivan Soldo?
Well, I mean, look, Ivan's situation is a little bit different. I think in fairness to Ivan, he hasn't quite settled in South Australia the way that maybe he would like, and probably looks at the moment and sees Jordan Sweet playing some pretty good footy and understanding that the club has, still a high opinion of Dante Vicentini. So, again, we have to deal with the fact that our non-South Australian players might want to go home, and I guess I understand that in Ivan's situation that maybe if he's not going to be the number one ruck here, that maybe he would prefer to be either the number one ruck elsewhere or maybe sitting behind someone elsewhere. So I'm not going to be bloody minded about it. If there's a deal to be done, I think that we'll be willing to do it. But equally, in all of these situations, it's got to be right for Port Adelaide.
Well, your team generally shine in this period, so all the best with that, CD. Before we do let you go, and we do thank you because we know it's a busy, stressful time, we've had 3 individial texts on the Unique Home Style Food text saying that you're going to take up a job at AFL House come November.
No, that a few people have sort of mentioned that. Whoever's sending you those texts, you can text them back and tell them that is highly unlikely.
Highly unlikely. Okay.
My position here at Port, I think importantly, and this does come from people like Tim who have, hammered it into everyone that he is fortunate enough to work at Port Adelaide, but the club is the most important thing. If ultimately, the club ever wanted with me to get to a position where it was time for someone else to have a crack, then, the club would be good enough at that point to have that discussion with me. But I don't think that my future is in at AFL House. I'm a bit more of a competitor than maybe that might lend itself to.
So then it's not Collingwood either?
I've been very good to not mention anyone's names over time, and I'm certainly not going to do that now.
I'm just being... So you and Ken are going to see this through?
Well, I mean, I want Port Adelaide to be successful, and I will not stop in trying to achieve that. Now, the levels of success that we've had in comparison to what we want, they're not aligned at the moment. And, my job is to try and put a program together that's going to get us there.
Keep pushing it, CD. Good luck in the next couple of weeks.
Good on you, fellas. Thank you.
Thanks for your time. That is the GM of football, Port Adelaide, Chris Davies, our guest.
Brian Taylor from Channel 7 to join us after this. Let's check your roads. Everyday items locked in at low prices for longer. There's more ways than ever to save at Foodland.
In Lenswood, a crash on Swamp Road near Lobethal Road. Also, Ingle Farm Montague Road near Bridge Road. Parafield Gardens has a burst water main on the Salisbury Highway near Sophia Street. Heavy delays back up to Eldersmith Road affecting inbound. In the city, roads are closed for the UniSA graduations this afternoon on Hindley Street. That's between Liverpool and Clarendon Street until 5:30 p.m. The King Living Spring Sale is on now. Save up to 50% on selected Australian Design Award-winning furniture. Hurry, sale on now. Shop online or visit a King Living showroom today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Rowey and Timmy G on the 5AA Sports Show.
Join Gliderol in celebrating the Colorbond Steal the Show promotion. By purchasing a roller door or sectional door made from Colorbond steel from Gliderol, now or within the last 12 months, you could win $100,000. Visit gliderol.com.au today for a free measure and quote. Retail customers only. T's and C's apply. See colorbond.com/steal the show. 18 plus only. Strict purchase and eligibility criteria apply. Ends 30/11/24.
Hi, Brady Bitt here for Mawson Lakes Mazda. There's a lot to like about Mawson Lakes Mazda, and it seems you like them too. The free rego and stamp duty offer was so huge, it's back. That's 12 months of rego and stamp duty. Plus, they'll also chuck in $500 worth of accessories. They tell me the red ones are going fast. Mawson Lakes Mazda. Free rego and stamp duty and $500 worth of extras on all new Mazdas. Hurry, and soon. Mawson Lakes Mazda. Just a short drive from the city.
Now, you can always expect more from Sip and Save. More deals, more range, more service.
Oh, I love Sip and Save because generally around the corner there is a Sip and Save.
Correct.
Here, for a limited time, purchase any participating Cooper's 24-pack and you'll receive a bonus Cooper's Cooler Bag.
That'd be pretty cool because in the winter they had those long-sleeved sort of jumper, the rugby top. So
they're on the boat.
Now you can put this bag with it. Now, whether it's a Cooper's Pale Ale 24-pack for $57.99, the Cooper's Mid Ale, that's the 3.5, 24-pack only $49.99, or the Cooper's Sparkling Ale, know your favourite,
the red
24-pack $62.99.
Oh, they get me wobbly quick.
Nice.
I could go sideways, blue swimmer crab style.
Well, just have two then.
That's true. Their offer is only available while stocks last. Price may vary in country areas. Sip and Save. There's a store near you, and drink responsibly.
Hi gardeners, Charlie Allbone here. Water is the key to maintaining a healthy garden. That's why I use Rich Grow Easy Wet Soil Soaker. It lets the water in and keeps the roots hydrated. Easy Wet is easy to use on lawns, gardens, pots and edibles, and its new granulated formula creates the rich grow effect for greener lawns and stronger, healthier plants. Grab some today and grow you good things. Available at Bunnings Warehouse.
Shopping should be exciting, not dull. An adventure, not a chore. And fresh, not routine. So experience something new at Newton Central with Drake's, Serenity Hair & Co, Fandy Scissorhands, Terry White Chemist, Glitter and Polish Nail Salon, and many more. Including the brand new Séjour Club, an independent boutique with one-of-a-kind handcrafted apparel and jewellery from 2 local designers. Want something new in your life? Choose a new local. Choose Newton Central, Gorge Road, Newton.
Are you working with your GP to achieve weight loss? Try Optifast VLCD shakes for a high-protein, low-calorie meal alternative to provide essential nutrition during weight loss. Optifast VLCD is for the dietary management of overweight and obesity and must be used under healthcare supervision.
Everyday items locked in at low prices for longer. There's more ways than ever to save at Foodland.
The 5AA Sports Show, Rowey and Timmy G.
12 minutes to 5. Caroline Wilson coming up after 5 o'clock.
It's AFL Grand Final day. Sydney Swans v Brisbane Lions. It's from 7 a.m. this Saturday on 7 and 7 Plus Sport. Joining us, well, he's everyone's favourite. He's certainly one of mine.
Absolutely.
BT, Brian Taylor, welcome.
Rowey, Timmy, how are you?
Excellent.
Now, BT, you're a Melbourneite now. I know you're West Australian, but you're a Melbourneite. Is it South Melbourne v Fitzroy or is it Swans v Lions?
Well, if you're in Victoria, it's South Melbourne versus Fitzroy. But if you're outside of Victoria, it's Brisbane versus Sydney. Pretty simple. But I'll tell you what it is, the last grand final we had, in terms of from a Channel 7 perspective and ratings, which is an important part,
yep.
The biggest ratings grand final ever in the history of the game was West Coast Sydney a few years back.
There you go.
Now, we've got Brisbane Sydney this time. The reason it rates highly is because we know everyone in South Australia, West Australia, Victoria is watching, but all of a sudden we've got this interest from Queensland and now New South Wales as well. So it just turns into a rating, or it should turn into a ratings bonanza.
So this is an AFL dream. It's fixed, BT.
Absolutely. It is. It is. The AFL would have worked long and hard for this to happen. 2 interstate sides in the grand final. It's just amazing.
Hey, BT, what number GF would this be for you, either on commentating on radio or TV? What number would you be up to?
Jesus, I reckon I don't know the answer to that question, but the guess would be I started in 1992 doing grand finals. So what's the maths, Timmy? Come on.
Yeah,
You're the educated one out of me and Rowey.
That's
32 years.
32 years.
There you go, 32 years of grand final.
Oh, well done, mate. Well done. That's
and
amazing.
I still feel like it's fresh, and I still feel like it's the first one, and I'm still bloody challenged by the enormous task and privilege of calling a grand final to make sure you get it right for the people that matter, and that's the viewers.
Well, the thing I said about I do the sample over here, BT, and the thing I said about it was it's actually probably a bit of an honour in that you are part of that particular winning team's history forevermore, because when they go back to watch it, you're the caller.
Yeah, it is funny, isn't it? And they go back to review it and highlights and all that sort of thing, and it's sort of a funny thing, Timmy. You would notice with the commentating, and although the commentators never actually talk about it to each other, and we laugh about it afterwards, but when you get down to the last sort of 2 minutes of the grand final, the one thing that they replay for years and years afterwards is the last 15 seconds of a grand final. Sydney have won, and you blurb it all out in that last 15 seconds. So every commentator's dream is to be the caller that's calling the last 15 seconds. And, as it works, it's just a fluke as to whether you're doing it or your partner's doing it. It just works out that way. And that's the dream of every commentator, but we never really talk about it to each other because we try and outmaneuver each other at the end by doing a few extra seconds here and there to get that last 15 seconds. We're very selfish like that.
Oh, no, you're not. BT, James Brayshaw, Bruce McAvaney, Hamish McLaughlin, Luke Hodge, Richo. The list goes on and on. Dale Thomas, I'm loving him. Maxie Gorn's going to be in it. We look forward to it. On from 7 a.m. This Saturday. Now it's Katy Perry, the old Katy Perry. I didn't know who she was till they announced she was singing. She going to be singing Raw?
Well, she is going to be singing Raw. I tell you how I know that, because I have just done a function here at the RACV Club in Melbourne, and I did it with Jonathan Brown. Jonathan Brown, at this very current minute, is meeting Katy Brown in a one-on-one, Katy Perry, sorry, in a one-on-one, she has told him, when they were rehearsing earlier today, that she is singing that song. So Brownie's got the inside mail, so that'll be intriguing.
Now, BT, our man here, Timmy Ginniver, 7-time, 5-time, 4-time. He's a huge port man. He is the cashy king over here. So this time of the year in Melbourne, you fill your boots up, BT, don't you?
ATO's on all of us.
No, not singing anymore, but I can tell you, Nat Edwards over here, she is what we call the cashy queen, because she gets it all done, and we know how much the girls are involved in footy these days, and they've got to be everywhere. So she does very, very well. But there are a million functions. So yesterday I went to 2. There was a crowd of 1,000 for the Carbine Club at Crown Casino. Then there was a crowd of 800 at the Sofitel for the Van Sang Club. Today the RACV Club luncheon, another 700 people. Now, they're just the ones I've been to, but there have probably been another 60 or 70 of that magnitude that I haven't been to. It's just so many companies get involved. I don't know anyone that's ever paid for a ticket to go to any of these events. Somehow they get in and the company's paid for it, and it is quite remarkable what happens in Melbourne Grand Final week with functions like this.
Magnificent. We'll talk about the crowd. It's sold out, but I'm going to talk a bit of footy here, BT. Grundy lead ruck with Warner, Heaney and Golden, or Fort, who's in with Big O, with Neil, McCluggage and Dunkley. There's the grand final there. Who are you leaning towards?
That is where the grand final will be decided, and they are both very, very prominent midfields. I would say I'd be leaning towards the Brisbane being... If you ask me which group of players I would trust, I think I would trust Brisbane's group more than Sydney's group. Now, while Warner's and Goulden are and Heaney are the most explosive and beautiful to watch players, the ones that are the most reliable are the older ones. Okay. And that, to me, is point.
I like Brisbane. Their midfield has been there, done that. They're tough. I think they're ready for that next step, but... they also hit that scoreboard. Cam Rayner, especially when he moves up forward, he can take a grab and kick goals as well. But their forward line just looks a little better. I'm expecting a rip-snorting game, though. I think we saw it last year, didn't we, BT? Went down to the wire under a goal. I'm expecting something similar.
Oh, you're spot on, Timmy. The forward line of Brisbane absolutely eats the forward line of Sydney. I mean, I know McDonald and Marty and McLean, you know, they got going a little bit last week, but compare that to Hipwood, Danaher. There's one other that I've forgotten about. There's one other main player there. Cameron's involved as well, and there's another tall player I can't quite think of. But the forward line for Brisbane is much more likely to kick a winning score, I would think, than the forward line for Sydney. Okay. They are bloody good, and it will be interesting.
Okay. The First Lady of Footy's joining Seven next year, BT. You'll be able to wax lyrical with the old Caro.
She's been brought out of semi-retirement, Caro, so it'll be great to see her. She's in a class of her own, Caro. You know, she's just in a class of her own. You tell me what other woman in Australia that you would go and pick to fulfil that hard-nosed journalist edge on that type of show. There is no one else that's on her level. And even though, you know, she was almost off into retirement, she is it. She is the one that clubs respect. And while, you know, a lot of people would say, oh, no, Caro's story's not right, you know, normally a week later it proves to be right. Caro's, where there's smoke, there's fire with Caro.
Nah, we love her. She's on each and every Thursday for Harvey Norman, and each and every Thursday for 12 years she's called me an idiot. What are you laughing at, BT?
Yeah, she's probably pretty bloody right there. Hey, listen, just one thing to watch out for. Don't ask me to follow up and back this up.
Okay.
But because I'm not going to give you any more information than what I give you now. Something is going to happen at the end of the grand final, regardless of who wins or loses.
Okay.
That it's going to affect either side, and it is going to be pretty emotional and an incredible surprise to everyone in the footy world. I'll leave it at that.
You can't tease our listeners with that, BT.
That sounds huge.
Give me the initials of this person.
Is it a person or is it an event?
Think about that, Rowey. Timmy, I'm confident you'll work it out over time. Okay. Rowey, I'm not so confident.
Love you, BT. Thanks, mate. Hey, have a great call. It's an amazing team. It's number one commentary team in the land. Go the Swans. Thanks, BT.
Good on you, boys.
Brian Tarter, 7 AFL commentator, a grand final, Sydney Swans, Brisbane. We know that from 7 a.m. Saturday morning. It's on 7 and 7 Plus Sport.
Always entertaining, BT.
I love him.
No, it'll be amazing. 2 minutes to 5. Caroline Wilson coming up after the news.
Rowey and Timmy G on the 5AA Sports Show.
From the creators of the 2021 and 2022 Drive Car of the Year comes the next big thing. The all-electric 7-seat Kia EV9. The 2024 Drive and now World Car of the Year. Visit your nearest Kia showroom or find out more at kia.com.au.
Kia. Movement that inspires.
Stay comfortable all year round with a $399 Actron air conditioner from Mac Trade Services. Thanks to the SA Government REPS rebates, if you're a concession card holder or a renter, you can get an Actron Air reverse cycle air conditioner supplied and installed from just $399. That's nearly 80% off the normal price. Hurry, this deal won't last long. Terms and conditions apply. Visit us at our Rose Park office or find out more at mactradeservices.com.au.
Well, it's Barnacle Bill for seafood and much, much more. At Barnacle Bill, tackling lunch and tea, it's a breeze. With big tasty feeds, you've got to see to believe.
Drove past last night, fair dinkum car park full. It was unbelievable. And I'll tell you why. You go inside, delicious prawns, fish, calamari, scallops, spring rolls, chips, salads, burgers, schnitzels, vegan options, veggie options, Barnacle Bill's Farmer's Tarte sauce, and the sweet treats like jelly, gelato, mousse, and a pineapple fritter.
Oh, God.
Get it on your plate.
I want to get there now. Now, if you're hankering for a feast this grand final weekend, what a better way to enjoy it than reeling in your crew for some fish from the sea.
Oh, yeah. It's an SA-owned franchise serving South Australians quality seafood for over 50 years. And if it's seafood, it's got to be Barnacle Bills.
Thinking of painting and don't know where to start?
We do, because we know paint at Crowey's.
So, visit Crowey's. And while you're there, join Crowey's Club to get 10% off everything.
We no paint at Rowey's.
Ark. The news and information that matters. This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Clear tonight, down to 7, sunny tomorrow 22. With the 5 o'clock news, I'm Mel Usher.
The 2024 Mitsubishi Triton comes with 10 years warranty, plus 3 years free servicing, only at Agostino Mitsubishi.
There's still a lot of uncertainty for the state's tomato industry, which has been hit hard by a plant virus. SA Tomatoes is one of the companies in quarantine with workers stood down. Jordan Brook-Barnett from Ozveg SA says a national solution is needed.
We need to urgently get all parties to the table for a resolution to talk this out. I don't know if everyone needs to fly to Canberra or what that means, but just to sit down. If we have to sit down for a day or 2 days just to work through this, we need other states to actually understand the impact that this is having in SA and the national supply implications.
A man has been charged with arson following a fire at a unit block in Carrington Street this afternoon. The occupants were not injured. The 62-year-old will front court tomorrow. Australia has signed on to a joint statement demanding an urgent ceasefire between Israel and Lebanon. Zach De Silva reports.
Hundreds have been killed in Israeli airstrikes on Lebanon, and Hezbollah has been firing rockets back over the border in retaliation. Australia, the US, Europe and Japan are among those now calling for a 21-day pause in hostilities in the hopes of negotiating a lasting peace. US President Joe Biden is urging all sides to step back from the brink.
Important this war not widen.
There are around 15,000 Australians in Lebanon, and Foreign Minister Penny Wong says they should leave while they still can.
Please do not wait for a preferred route. Please take the first option you can.
Experts believe Israel and Lebanon are unlikely to agree to the proposed ceasefire.
Katy Perry says we can expect a larger-than-life show at this Saturday's Grand Final. She spent some time at the MCG today and was gifted a personalised Sharon. She also brought up the fact no Victorian club managed to make it to the final two.
What I'm still trying to get over is that Melbourne has 10 teams and they're not here. It's just
For
the math.
some,
The math. Don't go into that. Okay.
It's now less than 6 weeks out from the US election, with a stark choice for voters between current Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump. She has contrasted their economic plans with those of her rival, who she says is a friend of billionaires. Harris stressing the importance of strengthening the middle class.
You see, for Donald Trump, our economy works best if it works for those who own the big skyscrapers, not those who actually build them, not those who wire them. Well, I have a very different vision.
And Citroën is leaving our shores. The French car brand is pulling out with its plug-in hybrid variant due later this year to be their final new vehicle in Aussie showrooms. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Collect the 2024 AFL footy cards at Sports Card World Regent Arcade, Rundle Mall.
The final Saturday in September is looming. The Sydney Swans flew into Melbourne today on a private jet ahead of this weekend's grand final. Callum Mills will sit the big game out due to a hamstring injury. Sydney assistant coach Dean Cox says it's been a tough period for Mills.
I think one thing that he's always done ever since he's been involved at the football club is put the team first. His approach, certainly throughout the year and certainly the last couple of days, has been unbelievable through a really tough time.
AFL great Lee Matthews says he's not surprised by how Brisbane and coach Chris Fagan have turned their season around to reach the grand final. Matthews, who coached Brisbane to 3 flags, will present the cup to the Lions if they defeat Sydney on Saturday. Port Adelaide says it won't rush a decision on Travis Boak's future. He's been offered another year, which would see him play on for a 19th season. The club's Chris Davies says there's no hurry to lock him in.
What we have both done, the club and Trav, is to kick that issue down the track. You know, we're not looking for Travis to make a decision in the next period of time, and equally for Trav, you know, we made sure that he was aware that, you know, we needed to look at what else was coming in from our list perspective.
And in golf, Adam Scott believes the dynamic game of fellow Aussie Min Woo Lee may be just what the international team needs to win the President's Cup. They'll tee off together tomorrow morning. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Make a big difference to your outdoor entertaining area this summer. Visit bigdifference.com.au.
In Crafers West, a breakdown on the freeway up track near the Measdays ramp. A crash in Lenswood on Swamp Road near Lobethal Road. Also Ingle Farm Montague Road near Bridge Road. Burst Water Main Parafield Gardens on the Salisbury Highway near Sophia Street. That has heavy delays backed up to Eldersmith Road affecting inbound. In the city, roads are closed for the UniSA graduations for another half hour on Hindley Street. That's between Liverpool and Clarendon Street. Power up Android with Telstra and save on the latest Android devices with Australia's best mobile network. Talk to your local Telstra team today or go online to find out more. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA weather.
Get the Toyota Forklift Advantage. Visit toyotamaterialhandling.com.au.
Clear tonight down to 7, sunny tomorrow 22, Saturday showers developing 26, Sunday showers easing 18. Right now it's 16 degrees. Now let's check what's happening on 9 News tonight.
I'm Kate Collins. Tonight, exclusive vision of a violent northern suburbs home invasion. 3 people armed with machetes attack a teenage boy. A father's harrowing call for help. Police hunting a gunman after a Burton shooting. Supermarket price crunch. The major chain 25% cheaper than others. And a giant free agent chooses the Crows. 9 News, your news, nightly at 6 on 9 and 9 now.
When you've been around for over a century, you know a thing or two. And South Australian Business Chamber and Ray White have almost 300 years between them. So when an alliance is formed between South Australian Business Chamber and Ray White Business Sales SA, all that experience flows to you. This ensures you're in top shape, whether you're buying, selling, or somewhere in between. Touch base with the experts. Search Ray White Business Sales SA. Proudly partnered with South Australian Business Chamber.
How many times a day do you experience hand or wrist pain? If simple things like cooking, holding a cup of tea or coffee, and recreational activities are giving you pain, do something about it. At Grip Surgery, we specialise in hand trauma, carpal tunnel syndrome, osteoarthritis, joint replacement, sports injuries, nerve pain, and more. To get a grip on the life you loved before, free from hand pain, visit gripsurgery.com.au. That's gripsurgery.com.au.
Streaming live via the 5AA Player app on DAB Digital Radio and on 1395 AM. This is 5AA, always Adelaide.
Everyday items locked in at low prices for longer. There's more ways than ever to save at Foodland.
The 5AA Sports Show, Rowey and Timmy G.
7 minutes.
Just one thing to watch out for. Something is going to happen at the end of the grand final, regardless of who wins or loses, that it's going to affect either side, and it is going to be pretty emotional and an incredible surprise to everyone in the footy world.
8 after 5. That's Brian Taylor who joined us just before the news. There's a big surprise coming at the very end of the grand final, regardless of who wins. Interesting one. Some theories coming through on the unique homestyle food text line, and we'll take your calls soon as well. 8223 0000. Sydney and Brisbane's grand final team selections, they will be at 5:50 tonight, so we'll bring them to you very, very soon. Jason Ackermanis is coming up on the show as well as Chelsea Bedell and Gemma Houghton from our Two Crows and Port Adelaide AFLW sides. And of course, we'll keep taking your calls through the show, but right now it's time to welcome in Caroline Wilson.
Caroline Wilson. Thanks to Harvey Norman Clearance Centre. Cooking appliances, washing machines, dishwashers, TVs and more. 919 Marion Road, Marion.
This is it, grand final edition of Caroline Wilson on our show. G'day, Caro.
Hello, Tim. Hello, Stephen. Are you both excited?
Well, we are. Rowey's a little bit, it's not my team, so, you know.
Well, no,
I'm
not so much
excited.
that. I get jealous this time of year, Caro. I'm a woe me. Why isn't it my team?
Yeah.
Oh, look, my team was so bad for so many years that I took it as a bonus when they started winning premierships. And look, to be honest, boys, I just reckon grand finals are fantastic. It's like Christmas Day for me. I have such admiration for these two teams. I can't call it. I know when I sit down, I'll find myself secretly supporting one or the other, but it'll be a great result for both. I mean, for a team to win it from outside the top four would be great. We all love Chris Fagan. We all love what he's done and the way he's changed coaching. And I think we're all pretty admiring of John Longmire too, and what an incredible job he's done at Sydney. So,
I think we're going to get another close one, aren't we, Caro? That's the feeling I've got.
Smells that way.
I hope so. I did a panel today at the Essendon Women's Lunch, and Josh Kennedy, Sydney version of Josh Kennedy, was on the panel. His view is that Sydney will win and win it with some ease. Now, obviously, he's a Sydney man, but he was pretty definitive in all of that. Laura Kane was on the panel. She wouldn't give a view, but I think there were some others at the AFL who were pretty sure that Brisbane are going to win. I ran into Gillan McLaughlin at the function last Saturday night. Obviously the Geelong game against Brisbane, and he was absolutely definitive at the start of the game that he thought Brisbane were going to win. He still thought they were going to win at half time, and I think he thought they'd put on a pretty good showing on Saturday. It'd be pretty harsh to lose 2 in a row, wouldn't it? Particularly if they lost 2 close ones.
Well, Sydney could say 2 in 3 years wouldn't be good either, Cara. Hey, you mentioned Gill, a bit of names dropping there. How is the big fella, Big Gill?
He's good. I think it was the first function he's actually been to all year. I think he had a view that, he stayed away from Gather Round. He stayed away from a lot of the big nights. He wasn't at the Brownlow. He will be at the Grand Final. It was pointed out to him that he must have been so busy he'd forgotten to go to the barber, because I've never seen his hair longer. But no, look, he looked good. I think he's in a new industry now, running Tabcorp. It's incredibly challenging.
Yeah.
I think everyone was pretty happy to see him, and no, he was in good form. In fact, we ended up at the Percy Beams bar down the road down the bottom floor of the MCG.
Oh God, espresso martinis all round, Caro.
No. Beer. I think it was. Well, I don't know. I was having champagne. He was having beer, as I recall, but only one. It was It's one of the best preliminary finals I've ever seen. I thought it was just a brilliant game.
No, it
was.
Brilliant game. Hey, we had BT on from 7 just before you, and he dropped what would you call it? Not a bombshell, but he said there's going to be some sort of a tease, a surprise. Come on, boys, you'll work it out at the end of the commentary. Do you have any inkling as to what that would be, Caro?
I don't know what he's referring to. I don't have inside information there. I do have a view that has been backed up by a little bit of inside information. So, as you know, Bruce McAvaney's back hosting.
Yes.
He hosted the prelims and he's hosting the grand final.
Yes.
I don't know about you. I think it's just been... I can't understand why he hasn't been on Channel 7 doing footy hosting in the past few years. I know that he stepped away from full-time calling, and I know he was focusing on racing and the Olympics, and 7 lost the Olympics. But I can tell you we will be seeing more, I reckon, if he wants to, of Bruce McAvaney on 7's coverage.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
That'd be great. Just on 7, Caro, you're doing the old backflip. You're doing the old...
Hello. Is it trade season in the TV world as well, Caro?
Hey, Caro.
Nothing decided as yet, boys. Can't really talk about it. I did my last classified for the year on Tuesday night. There are a lot of things... Look, there's a lot changing and happening on the media landscape, and it's exciting, but as to where I end up, who knows? I am continuing, though, to be writing for The Age, and I am definitely going to be pretty sure on 3AW next year.
Okay.
But we'll just see where the rest of it ends up. There are some big changes happening. We know Kane's going to Channel 7.
We probably should have announced it last night then. Perhaps.
No, BT was adamant that you're coming over, Caro. So what does he know that you don't know?
Well, I think I'll be the one to know definitively, don't you, Stephen?
I would have thought so, and I was just going to put in there if you wow. If you want a package deal, I'm available. Tim's already with 7.
No.
Okay.
No, nothing's... I can't say too much because
nothing's
okay. Involved, and I'm not sure where I'm ending up. But I did see that Nick Revolt's coming to Channel 7.
Yes.
Moving back from the States, and is going to be part of the 7 commentary team, and that Luke Darcy is leaving. So I think there's going to be a lot of changes.
Yeah, I think he'd be great. I love Roo. CD, Chris Davies.
Yeah, we just spoke to him earlier. We asked him, well, there was several unique homestyle food texts that come in saying that he's got to perhaps look at a job at the AFL. And there's a contract to be signed before November. That was one rumour. Yeah. There was also a rumour of Collingwood, but what are you hearing?
Collingwood's not a rumour, Tim.
Oi, all right.
He'll be talking to Collingwood.
Is this as strong as you going to 7? How strong is it?
Can we leave me out of this, boys?
That wasn't me, Caro. That was Tim. And you can call him an idiot.
Me, Journo. I'm not comfortable on that side of the...
that wicket, yes, I understand.
That was Tim, not me.
Look, no, Collingwood really want Chris Davies to come and run their football operation following the departure of Graham Wright, who is also in talks with the AFL to come and work alongside Laura Kane, with the view that, I know they've got a lot of people working with Laura who've come in recent years, including Josh Marnie and Ned Guy and Daniel Richardson. You've also got Erin Phillips doing some part-time work there, and also Joel Selwood, but they're really keen, I think, to get someone more senior. So I think Graham Wright's got a few offers. There's talk that he might even be interested in being a club CEO. As for Chris Davies, look, it's going to be a big offer and a big move to get Chris Davies to leave Port Adelaide, I reckon, because I think he's so loyal to the club. He's so invested in Ken Hinkley, and I think he's probably invested in Josh Carr too. But I know that Collingwood, they're very, very keen, and I know that I'd be amazed that the view of Collingwood is that at the very least he's going to agree to talk to them and we'll be listening to what they have to say.
Well, he's one of the best in the business.
So, Caro, I'm wondering, Jimmy Bartell, where does that leave him? Because we have him once a week, and we've always thought, gee, imagine him being the head of footy somewhere.
Yeah, no, I'm a fan, but I think he probably needs some experience, Tim. I mean, he's been a football club director.
Yep.
And he talks to a lot of people in footy. I think he's a mentor for a lot of people in footy, and he is mentored himself, or he gets advice himself from people in footy. But I think, he clearly made a deliberate decision to stop being the footy director at the Giants, because I think he wants to get involved either at a club or the AFL, or he's shown some interest there. Where that happens, I don't know. I did hear his name linked to Essendon at one point. I think where Jimmy would like to go is, my understanding, is a football development role.
Okay.
A development coaching role, or running a development division of a footy club. I know he was also, I know there was some talk, he did have talks with the AFL, and I think he's also shown a big interest in list management. So I'm surprised actually, Tim, like you, that nothing's bobbed up just yet. So let's just wait and see what happens there.
Okay. He'll land on his feet for sure. Callum Mills, captain out. Longmire, the horse, his legacy and what he's done. There's always hard luck stories, Caro.
Yeah, there is.
Look, it's just interesting because, we know he admitted after the game he made the wrong decision to play Reed a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
But I go back to 1999 when Dennis Pagan played John Longmire in a game that, look, it'd be too much to say he was on one leg, but he was definitely ageing and he was definitely not fully in peak fit condition. But because of his time at the club, because of his history, because of his reputation and legacy, Dennis Pagan played him, and North won, and John Longmire became a premiership player. So I think this would have been really tough for him. And he normally is the sort of coach who lets a player know early in the week whether he's playing or not. But it's really interesting to me that he let Callum Mills go on until, yesterday before he made the call. So he obviously did everything to try and get Callum over the line, and he obviously was of the view that it just wasn't going to happen. Should Callum Mills and others get a medal anyway, even though they didn't play?
Oh, look, no. I'm a no on that. I think the person themselves knows they didn't play, so it's I don't like it myself. I know that the Americans do it and all the rest of it, but we don't have to do everything they do.
No, I agree with you, Tim, but it's interesting, Bob Murphy wrote a column in The Age the other day saying he's now an advocate of the medal for those who've played games during the year. Now, given that Bob Murphy himself, was handed the medal from Luke Beveridge after the game, ended up giving it back, and said it wouldn't have been the same, and he's now, a few years down the track, saying, well, no, I think maybe it's a good idea. I'm interested in that.
I'm interested in maybe you give, and I'm thinking everybody that played in the squad, and I reckon even staff members of think you get something, right? But it isn't that what they get on the day.
So when it happened with the Port Adelaide captain, and, I gather that whenever they have reunions, Mark Williams makes every effort to include everyone who was involved in the club that
Matty
year.
Promise and Josh Franco, but they know they didn't play.
Yeah, I know, it's tough, isn't it?
It is. It is
It's
one of those,
really tough. I mean,
as you said, one of the heartbreak stories of every grand final.
There's
isn't
always
it?
one. Hey, what's this AFL Rules Summit that was held the other day?
Well, it happened yesterday at AFL headquarters, hosted by Laura Kane. There were representatives of all clubs invited, open invitation. I'm not sure anyone came from Adelaide or Port Adelaide. Patrick Cripps and Darcy Moore represented the club captains. I know Adam Uze was there. I think Craig McRae might have been there as well, and I'm not sure about Michael Voss. Anyway, there was a lot, and there were, footy managers, there were CEOs, a lot of talk about holding the ball, a lot of talk about the umpiring, a lot of talk about dangerous tackles. And it was really just a talk fest. It wasn't somewhere where big decisions were made, but there's another one next week because a lot of people were unavailable due to school holidays and, people have gone away, taken the opportunity before, trade period starts, etc. But it's going to happen again next week, and I really hope some of the things that I think probably hurt the game a bit this year get resolved.
Well, they love a good summit, don't they, the AFL? Let's have a consultation.
I agree with
Let's
you,
all
Stephen.
get in a room. You get paid zillions of dollars.
And the season's
Make
still
a
going.
bloody decision.
Sydney and West Coast
Yeah.
can't be
God, they
a
love
part
a
of it.
summit.
Sorry, Sydney and Brisbane can't be a part of it. Yeah,
I think there was someone from Brisbane there actually. Anyway, look, do you know what I think, Tim? Do you know what I think, Stephen? I agree with Stephen, which is unusual, but I guess we're all in a good mood this week. I think that there has been all this talk about equalising the competition, competitive balance this year, all the visits to all the clubs. I'm disappointed more hasn't happened yet.
Yeah. Well,
and I think there were some big calls, and there were going to be big calls on academies and big calls on father-sons, etc. They've been put off for a year, but that will change. I wanted more, and I wanted more on the National Reserves competition.
Yep.
I want more on the rules. I want more on where they're going with umpiring. It looks like that they are seriously considering giving the two Perth clubs an extra home game next year, which is going to be highly controversial, particularly if a Victorian club is encouraged to sell a game and play one of their home games over at Perth. But I think that might happen because of the pressure the Eagles and also the Dockers are putting on the AFL. Okay. So look, it's going to be fascinating. Yeah. I can tell you also that opening round won't change next year. There'll be no game during opening round in either Adelaide or Melbourne, and there'll be 2 games in Sydney and 2 games in southern Queensland.
Okay, Caro, before you go, are you one of these typical Victorians over there that's calling it a South Melbourne game versus Fitzroy? Or are you a Sydney, Brisbane? I know you are. Who wins, South Melbourne or Fitzroy? I mean Sydney or Brisbane?
I'm Sydney, Brisbane. I was a very young journo when the South Melbourne moved to Sydney, a little bit older when the Brisbane change happened. I still get annoyed in that song when they say, like Fitzroy and the Bears of old. I don't think the Bears deserve a mention alongside Fitzroy, but I think that the Lions will win by 15 points. And Joe Danaher will go one better this year and win the medal.
Well done, Caro.
Well played, Caro. That's a big call, see? Unlike the AFL making no calls. Caro makes the big calls. Good on you, mate. We'll see you next week.
See you, Tim. See you, Stephen. Thank you.
Beautiful. All thanks to Harvey Norman Clearance Centre. From cooking appliances to washing machines, dishwashers, TVs and more, there's new stock arriving weekly, all with manufacturer's warranties. Harvey Norman Clearance Centre, 919 Marion Road, Marion. I was watching you doing something.
I was just going to say, something happened with you.
Yeah, I thought...
Caro likes thick thatches, doesn't she? She was infatuated with Gil's hair. She is with mine.
Yes. Yeah.
Remember that day she said, Rowey, you've got a thick thatch.
Yes. Of hair. Yes.
Care factor nil.
Right, okay. That was important.
Big book off.
24 after 5. Let's see what's happening on your roads.
In Crafers West, a breakdown on the freeway up track near the Measdays ramp has it slow outbound there. Crash in Fulham Gardens on Grange Road near Messenger Road. Same in Lenswood on Swamp Road near Lobethal Road. Ingle Farm Montague Road near Bridge Road. Burst Watermain Parafield Gardens on the Salisbury Highway near Sophia Street. And in the city, roads are going to be reopening soon following the UniSA grads today on Hindley Street between Liverpool and Clarendon Street. Take your multi to new heights this AFL Grand Final. final with Sportsbet's AFL player form. Get all the stats you need on all your favourite players with Sportsbet. Conditions apply. Chances are you're about to lose. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The 5AA Sports Show with Rowey and Timmy G.
As news breaks across the morning, Jade Robert will be reporting live from the streets of Adelaide for 5AA Breakfast. If it's happening in our city, Jade will be there giving us all the details. Don't miss Jade Robert on the road thanks to Dutton's. Family owned for 75 years. Easy to do business with.
If you need to fix your pipes, call Precise. Call Precise. If your toilet's blocking up, call Precise. Call Precise. If your lights aren't turning on or your hot water is gone, or a plumber or an electrician, call Precise. Precise.
Precise Plumbing and Electrical. Call 1300 700 200. That's 1300 700 200. For fixed price services, call Precise.
For a plumber or an electrician, call Precise. Call Precise.
Introducing the all-new Volvo electric excavator. It's quiet and has no emissions or exhaust, so it's perfect for confined spaces. The battery has 48 volts and it's got zero tail swing radius, whatever that means. 2.7 tonnes of brilliant bright yellow, but it's green environmentally, but it's yellow, quite literally. Inquire today through Warren Mining for all your electric excavation needs, but also all your construction equipment needs, because Warren Mining do it all.
Okie dokie, nobody knows paint like Crowies, and I should know because I was, back in the day, a master.
Painter.
Well said. They've got all the answers and all the questions they ask you. They don't interrogate you, but they want you to get it right. And it's at their best interest for you
in conversation,
to get it right. Well, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
Do you have to undercoat it? You have to stain it? Is it a wall? Is it a skyscraper? I don't know. Is it render? Is it wallpaper?
What are you doing?
How many coats? What do you want to do? What's not
Does
just
your house face west,
all
east,
of that,
south,
all of that,
north?
just inside, outside, all that. You go to other mobs and they just say, "Well, what's the colour?" And they mix it for you, and out you go. No,
Come on, give us
not
a background.
Crowies.
Give us some background.
That's exactly right. Crowies can help. They love their quality and their prices because they're simply the best. They don't have any competition. It's actually a shame because they're that far ahead.
Too good.
Crowies only sell the best quality paint. They have the best team. They're always around the corner. Crowiespaints.com.au because there is a store near you.
Give your mouth a little harmony with Henry Bloom's Probiotic Mouthwash. Formulated with Dental-Lac, a probiotic strain that harmonises the delicate pH of your mouth and promotes beneficial bacteria. Available at all major pharmacies.
Always read the label and follow directions for use. 5AA's Tech Talk with your host, Adelaide Tech Guy Richard Pascoe. Thanks to Harvey Norman Computers.
When you're updating your computer and you want the best value, Harvey Norman has the best deals and biggest range. On a small budget? No worries. The Asus VivoBook Go is the best price laptop under $400. It has a large 15.6-inch display, Intel dual-core Celeron CPU, 4GB of RAM and 128GB storage. It also includes Microsoft Office 365 for 1 year, all just $388. Want something with more power? They've got that too, and it's still under $900. The Acer Aspire Lite has an Intel i7 CPU, 16GB of RAM and 512GB solid-state drive. It also includes a large 15.6-inch Full HD display and Windows 11, all for only $898.
Check out this great offer at a Harvey Norman store near you. Everyday items locked in at low prices for longer. There's more ways than ever to save at Foodland.
The 5AA Sports Show, Rowey and Timmy G.
28 minutes after 5, we have Jason Ackermanis coming up at 5:30, so stay tuned. And 5AA's Golf Day, it is back, all thanks to Phil Hoffman Travel, featuring all your favourite 5AA presenters and some sporting legends as well. It's coming up on the 11th of October on the Friday at the stunning Glenelg Golf Club. You can get involved, 5AA.com.au to register. We'll be calling a lucky winner on Friday, so tomorrow. Don't miss out. It's all thanks to Phil Hoffman Travel, creating moments you'll never forget. Visit pht.com.au for hundreds of exclusive deals.
Let's get to Grange. G'day, Sean.
G'day, guys. How you going?
Good, buddy.
That's good. Just a couple of points with the Crows. One thing I've absolutely loved the AFL finals. I mean, the Brisbane-Geelong game was one of the best games I've ever seen. But the thing I've noticed, and including Ford as well, the ball use of these teams is just a step above the Crows. Yep. It's like, and I love Nixie, but he's persisting with guys that can't kick. Now, Jack Hardy always said, if you can't kick, you can't play. And we love people like Lockie Murphy's Endeavour and stuff like that. But really, I mean, let's get some elite players in. Let's not muck around anymore. The other thing is, are the Crows any chance of speaking to or getting Brent Montgomery? Because he would be a good, because we had Rahili doing the ball movement last year. And I reckon with Montgomery as ball movement coach, we'd look a bit better. I'm not just wondering what you guys think.
Well, we're hearing he's up to his eyeballs in the Crows job.
Yeah, we are, Sean. Yeah.
They've got a senior assistant at the moment in Scotty Burns, and I think they're looking for someone of an ilk of, I don't think Monty would be the senior assistant, would he? Or would he?
Not sure about that.
His kids are still here.
Yeah, I do.
Might want to come home.
I have heard rumours
they've been trying their hardest to nail someone. This is, Sean, I hope what happens by the end of this draft. I hope they get Neil Bullen, but don't sell the world for him. They'll get Isaac Cumming. With pick 4, they get a Sid Draper type or a Jager Smith or Harvey Langford, who's a big tall midi, who's probably a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 type pick. And with their pick 25, they get Alex Dobson. Pick 26, I think it might land.
Yeah.
Dodson, sorry. He's 203 centimetres and growing, the best ruckman in this ball.
It was in there.
If we end up with that...
Yeah, I've just got to apologise. I called Caro mate, and Richard's picked me up on it. And Richard,
that's not good.
No, it is a habit of mine.
No, that's not good.
I call a lot of people mate, and I take it back, Richard.
You'd call Albo mate if he came on the show, wouldn't you?
Oh, you call him mate, I'll crusty you.
No, I do have a habit. It just slips out, and Richard, it'll never happen again.
All right, no worries, mate. Jason Ackerman this after the headlines.
Rowey and Timmy G on the 5AA Sports Show. This is 5AA News, always Adelaide.
Good evening, Mel Usher with the latest news headlines. The shutdown of tomato growers is being felt far beyond the 3 properties north of Adelaide put into quarantine. Coles is looking to phase out single-use plastic bags in its fresh produce section. Almost 24 major railway stations across Britain, including 10 in London, have been hit by a cyber attack. And in sport, giant Isaac Cumming has advised Adelaide of his desire to join the club as an unrestricted free agent. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Make a big difference to your outdoor entertaining area this summer. Visit bigdifference.com.au.
Bit of breakdown, Crafers West on the freeway up track near the Measdays ramp. Heavy delays affecting outbound there. Crash in Fulham Gardens on Grange Road near Messenger Road. Lenswood Swamp Road near Lobethal Road. And Ingle Farm Montague Road near Bridge Road. In the city, roads are reopening shortly following the UniSA graduations. The Savo on Hindley Street. That's between Liverpool and Clarendon Street. Like char grilled chicken breast with bacon and avocado, then you'll love Polo Avocado, a flavourful favourite now at Faster Pasta, but only for a limited time. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The 5AA forecast, clear tonight down to 7, sunny tomorrow 22. Right now it's 14 degrees. We'll have more news at 6 and as it happens on 5AA.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
The Prime Minister's actually chatting on Sky News. Let's have a quick listen.
Will you guarantee that you won't touch negative gearing and capital gains tax concessions?
Well, we have no plans to change negative gearing.
Well, he sounds grumpy, he sounds defensive. We have no plans. Well, he said that about the Stage 3 tax cuts.
He needs to retire those words.
Adelaide's leading breakfast show.
It's a bit like asking Dan Houston if he's going to go to Victoria or not.
Weekdays from 6 a.m. on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
A potential vaccine to fight a bacteria responsible for life-threatening pneumonia in the very young and elderly has been developed in South Australia, and Fusion Clinical Research has been asked to trial this vaccine. For this important study, Fusion is seeking people aged 70 and over. If you want to take part in this important trial, go to fusiontrials.com.au or call Fusion on 087077 6996. That's 087077 6996. You will be paid for your time.
Grand Final tea's coming up, don't miss it, and ACCA as well, which is great. Now, when it comes to making an ex-party something really special and comfortable, using one of these tarpy things to block out the wind will make a bit of a difference. But will it make a big difference? Well, no way, Jose.
Well, that's the big thing. Absolutely not. For that, you need Big Difference Home Improvements. Now, especially when it comes to outdoor blinds. Call Big Difference Home Improvements and see what a huge difference their outdoor blinds can make to your entertaining area. Now, that's rain, hail or shine.
Now, when it comes to blinds, you can't muck around. There's good and then there's great.
Great.
And that is what big difference is. You need them supplied and installed by pros, not some backyard mob.
Nope.
And the team at Big Difference Home Improvements, they'll do it. You'll love the end result. You'll love their price. You'll love their service. They'll make a big difference.
They're outstanding. Big Difference Home Improvements also make a big difference when it comes to roller shutters, carports, pergolas, verandas, and stunning timber decks. They're just exquisite at all of them.
That's it. So don't just make a difference, make a big difference. Visit bigdifference.com.au, free measure and quote, or drop into their showroom at Blair Athol.
The Steinborner Group has done it again. The Jack T9 Ute has landed at Jack Motors in Gawler. Enjoy a 5-star ANCAP safety rating, a 7-year warranty, 7-year roadside assist and 7-year capped price servicing. The Jack T9 features a 2-litre 4-cylinder turbocharged diesel engine. This 4x4 dual-range ute boasts an impressive 3-tonne towing capacity, a 1,045-kilogram payload and a tray that fits a standard pallet. Starting from just $45,980 drive away, Jack Motors is well worth a trip. Visit gawlerjackmotors.com.au.
Buying a home is a huge investment, not just financially, but emotionally. So a professional inspection is a must. But remember, not all house inspectors are equal.
It's hard to believe this, but you don't need a builder's licence to be a house inspector. That's why it's important to choose House Inspect Australia for the most qualified team of inspectors in the nation.
If you thought a good house inspector was hard to find, well, take a look at House Inspect Australia. Don't risk a dodgy inspection. Be 100% sure. Go to houseinspectaustralia.com.au.
Here at 5AA, we're all about supporting local. Kids impacted by cancer shouldn't have to miss out on kid things. For more on how Lionhearts Learning can help, visit lionheartslearning.com. Everyday items locked in at low prices for longer. There's more ways than ever to save at Foodland.
The 5AA Sports Show, Rowey and Timmy G.
It is 24 minutes to 6, and it's getting pretty exciting. Grand Final week, we have the team selections to drop in about 14 minutes for Sydney and Brisbane for Saturday's Big GF. And as we warm up to the Grand Final, all thanks to Parafield Airport Liquor, home of the hardest to find wines, beers and spirits. Life is better with your pals. It's no better to chat with this champion.
The Lions, the Sparkle has returned. Carousella, Ackermanis, talk about Sparkle. Jason knows how to kick it. Oh, what an extraordinary kick.
You love the big stage? Well, it's Sydney Lions. It's AFL Grand Final. It's Saturday, It'll be live on 5AA. Joining us, friend of show, great mate. He's a 3-time premiership star speaker, Jason Ackermanis. Acker, welcome.
Oh, afternoon, Ro. I mean, honestly, you couldn't make it up this final series, and you'd never think the Lions would come back from 0-3 and do what they did. So it's just been amazing, ridiculous.
Can they go one better?
Of course, I mean, I think the thing that I say to people, they say, oh, well, the Lions, what's the difference? I said, well, last year they had Joey, he's kicking goals, and they relied on him and Charlie. And then you look at the weekend, Joey doesn't get one, Charlie kicks one, and then you've got Cam Rayner, you've got Kai Lohman, you've got Zach Bailey, and all of a sudden they're popping up. You've got Will Ashcroft back, obviously my great mate Marcus, the son. So, their firepower to goal is like ridiculously better, and good luck. I mean, they generate a lot of shots. You don't want to hope that your team just relies on them missing set shots, because that's really not a good way to go into a game. So anyway, didn't get an extra day, but that's about it.
Yeah. Big O's out, the Big O. That's a big out.
He's the big out, but obviously Darcy Ford coming in, and, just hard the contest. He's super competitive, so I'm not really actually too worried, because Big O will tell you, my role's pretty basic, bring it down and then follow it up, and if I can sneak forward and grab a mark, kick goal, it's pretty good. Darcy can do all that. It's actually the midfielders, I mean, they're both supreme midfield, so as it always is, and that's going to be the key. It always is. They've got to play that riskier footy, though, Rowey. So, when they do that, those players that I mentioned just then, they can come into it. They're smart footballers, so they get out. Sydney's going to have to do the same to get back in games. So it's going to be exciting to watch.
Hey, Acker, when you were playing, of course, in those 3 in a row, Clark Keating was your main man. I mean, if he had gone down like Oscar, would he have made a bigger difference back then?
Well, we had that happen. Like, Craggers was always great. He'd start the season, get injured, because, that's what he does, and then comes back late in the year. He was really fortunate, because James Sharman and Bo McDonald, they sort of got injuries at the right time, which allowed him back in. But we had a grand final where Big Bozo McDonald, he shoulder came in as a bit suspect. It dislocated. He went off the ground. Big Crackers had to do the rest of the whole game. And poor Bozo, he's gone to the hospital. They've got him on everything. He's on the green whistle. His eyes are cut. I'll never forget him telling the story. He's come back in the cab with the doctor. He jumped out and run straight through. No security checked him. Just as the siren rang, Big Bozo, he's got the wings still strapped up. He's jumped over the fence. We've just won. Everyone's celebrating. He's gone like he's on cloud nine. Of course he was, because he was high as a kite. Jumped on everyone. It was just like magic. So it can happen. And Rucks, Rucks, don't forget just how important these little blokes are. Like, we do all the work, but it's a bit overrated.
I love it. Hey, mate, in this grand final, who sort of excites you in both teams as far as the X factor goes? I mean, you were...
Cam
I was going to say, what
Cam
a
Rayner,
player.
I've been saying all year, Cam, people forget, Cam's got a super left foot, but you never see it because he doesn't get 30 touches. He might get 13, 14, 15 and try and destroy it. But as they said on radio this morning in Adelaide, that I don't miss much in Adelaide. And you look at Cam Rayner, he's gone in all of 8 stoppages, and he's in the middle, and he's got 4 of them. He's come out with clearances. You got a guy like that. They should use him more in there. But that's the thing about him. But he doesn't just do that. He breaks your tackles, which then you're a man down, and then you're in the open field. And you just hope he's not jumping at balls, taking marks, kicking goals, because he can do everything. And that's what I've always said about him. But, I think this is the final series. We're starting to see it.
Aka, let's not beat around the bush. Midfields win flags. Neil, Dunkley, McCluggage and co, or Heaney, Warner, Goulden and co? Who do you trust more? Who's got the better midfield?
Yeah, I like City's midfield. That's why they've been so good, But Errol Goulden is a superstar. But if you can stop him from doing those sequence of kicks, and because he really gets in the back half and then he starts setting them up, and of course Blakey. But yeah, I mean, I'm biased, but I think when those guys if they're both playing at their best and it's going head to head, we've got a lot of players that can look like the same. McCluggage, of course, and they've got Dunkley in there. Lockie's a bit quicker, but they've got that second string sort of, quartet that can go in there, Bailey and, of course, Rayner. So, yeah, that's going to be the difference. We had the Fab Four, but they forgot about Lizzie Powers coming in, one of the Scott brothers. It's not that easy, and that's your depth of your midfield. It's not just those 4, it's the next 4.
Eka, you going?
Yeah, I'll be there. It was a bit hard to get everything sorted with my family because, you've got to get so many in a row. But we got there. I had to, get out some photos, some nude photos of people, but we got there.
Any which way, mate, doesn't matter.
Well, the AFL had a love-hate relationship with you, so is that all seized down that Gil's left now and, they love the Aka now, do they?
No, they don't. No, they're still, we've still got problems. But let me tell you, there was a couple of trees I had to rustle. There's a couple of people I didn't know. It was pretty bad. I was supposed to do, you don't know this, but Alison Lynch couldn't do just before the game. You guys probably don't see it on the TV, but in the ground you have a big white sign. So last year Simon Black did it, and then Dacos did it, so it's like line. So I was going to do this year's, and then sort of, Channel 7's all good, I'll be there before the game, it's great. And then someone in the Toyota said, I didn't like something that Aka said, 100 years ago, he's not in. So Chris Johnson's going to do it. Now that's just it's not the AFL so much, but the Toyota. I won't be buying a Toyota again.
You know what, Aka? You're a 3-time premiership star, Brownlow Millis. Your record speaks for itself. Don't worry about those sort of things. Just get there and do 10 cashies.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, well, it was the days of cash. I was just thinking, I had a backpack today. I said, they used to be full of cash. Now you got everything. This is ridiculous. I get in the lift at Crown Towers to come down to catch up with her friends. Who's about to go into dinner before tonight's footy show. I'll be on that if you ever watch TV. And in there's Jed Buse. Jed Buse is the son of Andrew Buse, who I played with. And when he was a baby, I'd be holding him and walking around. I have not seen him since he was a baby. So I'm in the lift with him. I said, "Hey, you, Jed. You got a little bit bigger since the last story." So it's crazy. That week in Melbourne, you catch up with a lot of guys. You see a lot of other players. It's a pretty cool week.
No, it is. Aka, thanks for your time. We've got a couple of texts come through. What's your handicap now at golf?
Yeah.
I was off bloody +1 the last couple of weeks. It's been horrible. It's been horrible. And you have got, you get a par 3. You've got to get a birdie to get 2 points. This is ridiculous. Let's take a bowl.
Hey, mate, what about the Brownlow? You won it with 23 votes. Paddy Cripps had to get 45 to win it.
Yeah. Paddy's double the player I was. Can you believe that? I'm sitting next to Tony Liberatore. I said, "How many did you get?" He goes, 18. I said, "Bucks." I said, "Bucks, how many did you get?" He goes, 21. I said, Bossy came third when I won it on 18. Like, basically, when Vossi and I won it, you take them, and we're still not good enough. So this is just ridiculous. You have an average over 2 a game. It's unheard of. He'd never be beaten. And the bloke that comes second beats the record. He gets nothing. This is crazy.
Yeah. Acker, mate. Love you, mate. Enjoy the grand final. Thanks for your time. We always love chatting to you.
Fellas, anytime, fellas.
No, we're going to get him one of these, a pal. He is our pal.
Yes, he is.
When you're after that special drop, just your pals. Have it. Parafoot Airport Liquor. It's the home of all the hardest to find wines, beers and spirits. Yep, life's better with your pals.
Brilliant salmon, Jamie. Can't beat them.
Yep, you can't. 15 to 6. Let's check your roads.
A few crashes at the moment. Salisbury Park on Main North Road near Target Hill Road. Fulham Gardens on Grange Road near Messenger Road. Lenswood Swamp Road near Lobethal Road. Ingle Farm Montague Road near Bridge Road. Burstwater Main Parafield Gardens on the Salisbury Highway near Sophia Street. Urgent works Port Adelaide Grand Junction Road. And ongoing works in Chandler's Hill on Sugarloaf Road near Chandler's Hill Road. Glenelg BMW, Adelaide's independent family-owned BMW dealership situated at 141 Brighton Road, Glenelg South. Experience excellence at Glenelg BMW. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Rowey and Timmy G on the 5AA Sports Show.
City Discount Tires. Get saving this month at City Discount Tires. Grab 3 Falcon Zig ZE 310R passenger car tyres and get the 4th tyre absolutely free. Experience top-notch performance with exceptional grip on both wet and dry surfaces. Steer your way to citydiscounttires.com.au for even more great deals. City Discount Tires. We're driven by value.
City Discount Tires. The Honda mid-size SUV stock clearance is on now. Get 8 years warranty and 8 years roadside assist, plus a $1,000 Ampol fuel card on 2023 build Honda ZR-V and CR-Vs. Visit us at Formula Honda to test drive today. Ampol fuel card offer valid until September 30. Different warranty applies for vehicles used for commercial purposes. T's and C's at honda.com.au. Hurry into Formula Honda. Find us at Glen Osmond Road, Glen Osmond, or North East Road, Modbury.
So what are you to organise for dinner?
What a ridiculous question.
Yeah.
When I drive past Chanella's twice a day, mate.
Yeah.
I mated you, mate. Chanella's, mate.
Now, when it comes to dinner, for that matter, or lunch, chefs at Chanella's have done all the hard work for you. Stunning pre-prepared meals cooked daily using the freshest local ingredients. And our produce is the best, don't worry about that. They're all ready to take home right now from Chanella's.
Well, I'm working through them all. These family pasta dishes, there's the penna alla panna, there's the roast chicken rigatoni, the traditional lasagna, there's full roast, there's a range of tasty curries, the most amazing quiches. I had one the other day. Real men do eat quiche.
They certainly do at Chanella's.
If your wife gets it from Chanella's. There's so much more, all lovingly prepared by the chefs at Chanella's.
So, look, dinner sorted, lunch even. Jump onto Chanella's website or order in store today. Chanella's, it's a way of life.
What makes Aldi's fresh skin-off salmon a superfood? Omega-3? The fact it's $12.99 a 2-pack? Or is it its ability to leap from tall buildings? Okay, well, it's not the building thing. Aussie seafood at Aldi prices. Aldi. Good different.
5AA's Tech Talk with your host, Adelaide Tech Guy Richard Pascoe. Thanks to Harvey Norman Computers.
When you're updating your computer and you want the best value, Harvey Norman has the best deals and biggest range. On a small budget, no worries. The Asus VivoBook Go is the best price laptop under $400. It has a large 15.6-inch display, Intel dual-core Celeron CPU, 4GB of RAM and 128GB storage. It also includes Microsoft Office 365 for 1 year, all just $388. Want something with more power? They've got that too, and it's still under $900. The Acer Aspire Lite has an Intel i7 CPU, 16GB of RAM and 512GB solid-state drive. It also includes a large 15.6-inch Full HD display and Windows 11, all for only $898.
Check out this great offer at a Harvey Norman store near you. Everyday items locked in at low prices for longer. There's more ways than ever to save at Foodland.
The 5AA Sports Show, Rowey and Timmy G.
At 11 minutes to 6, we have AFLW's Chelsea Bedell and Gemma Houghton joining us after 6 o'clock. And Leith Forest tomorrow night is bringing back our Grand Final Eve show. He'll play your favourite footy and Grand Final tunes right here on 5AA from 7 o'clock till 10. It's all thanks to Clarity Records, your fully independent record store serving the local music community for over 14 years. They're at 60 Pulteney Street, Clarity Records. Great to have them on board for yet another year. And speaking of the Grand Final, the teams have dropped. Sydney, very unexpected, as expected, I suppose. Unchanged for this game. They've got Logan McDonald in the team despite his ankle concern during the week. Taylor Adams has not been named in the 26-man squad, so that's a little bit of a heartbreak story for Taylor Adams. Peter Adams is on the emergencies list with Francis and Cleary. For Brisbane, they've just made the one change. Darcy Ford is in for Oscar McInerney. They've got Joyce, Sharp and Smith as their emergencies.
Well, it was either Adams or Parker, and I know which one I'd pick. The horse did.
Yeah.
He picked Parker. Hello, Nick at Mansfield Park.
G'day, gentlemen. How you going, boys? All right? Thanks for taking my call. Hey, guys, I've just got an old 76 budget, right?
Yeah.
And it's very relevant to what you were talking about when you're having a dig at BT about South Melbourne and Fitzroy. Alrighty. Now, you boys, do you remember the NFL Wills Cup?
Now, have you sent that through on the text? I was
Well,
just reading it.
I just wanted you to see that. That way you know what I'm up to. You know what I mean? That way, because I didn't want to read it all out because it'd take too long. But you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, we'll just
And then-
explain it to the listeners, Nick. It was always going to be a VFL.
Yeah, well, it was always going to be an expanded VFL.
Correct.
You know what I mean? That was it. So what it was is it says basically what they wanted to do was start a national competition between, right, the VFL, WA Footy League, our league, and they're going to have a couple of representative teams from Tasmania, ACT, and who else was
New
it?
South Wales.
Well, 22
New South Wales.
teams consisting 8 VFL clubs, 6 from the SANFL, 4 from the Waffle, a representative team from Queensland, New South Wales, Tasmania and the ACT. This was dated back in 1976.
Sounds like a National Football League to me, Nick.
Don't it? It sounds like it is. And by the way, boys, it's Mick with an M. I'll let you
sorry,
get it right
mate.
a couple of times. That's all right.
that's
but I'll
all
let
right.
it go.
You too,
Okay,
mate. You're
good.
up on the screen as Nick, so don't blame us.
All right, no, you're right, fellas. So basically, what
Thanks,
the whole
mate.
idea is to
Yep.
expand the game of Aussie rules, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Expand
correct.
the country, right? So basically, what it says here was that the VFL there was rumours around that the VFL were planning their own domestic pre-season competition during the night.
Correct.
And everyone was like, that wasn't on, because the NFL said in this article that basically they already had plans to play games up in Queensland and New South Wales, and they were going to use the Victorian footy clubs because they were the
take 'em up
biggest
there.
teams.
Yeah.
And the VFL have obviously gone, look, I'll tell you what we'll do. We might start expanding our own game, as the article was saying. And they've basically just always had the vision, let's expand Aussie rules, but we'll do it around our clubs, our league.
Yeah,
You know what I
that's
mean?
right. So just in short, thanks, Nick, it's great. The NFL said, this is quote, unquote, after all, the main objective of our competition is to promote and develop Australian football on a national basis. The game, not
game.
VFL, the game.
The game.
Oh,
And that's
God.
where it just got a little bit clouded.
It did.
Certainly did.
You
All
big
right.
Victoria buffheads.
Get up to Port Augusta. G'day, Johnny.
Hi, Timmy, Rowey. Hey, fellas, I heard Ash last night bagging soccer. I don't understand why you'd ring a sport so bag another sport. I just don't understand it. I mean, I enjoy a lot of sport. You know, I love my cricket. That's my number one. I'll be honest. Test cricket is my first love. I enjoy the 50-over stuff. Not big on the T20. And I love my AFL. But I also very much enjoy the world game. When it's played at Premier League level, La Liga League level, the Spanish League, the Italian League, the German League, the French League, there is not many things better than that. It is bloody sensational. And it is a great game. I didn't think so 10 or 12 years ago. And I was shattered when it went off Fox. Because I can't watch Premier League and all the rest of it. I've still got Fox, but I'd love soccer to come back on. And I was getting in the A-League and all the rest of it. I know that's on Channel 10 a little bit. But it's a bloody great game. But why are we doing a sport show bag another sport? It is the most popular sport in the world. And it's a bloody great game.
Yeah, no, well done, Johnny. Well said. There's a bit of a study out when you get into a grand final. How did Sydney get there? How did Brisbane get there? They've been up for a while, both these clubs.
Yeah.
What's the dynamic of the group? How did they go about their list build? How do they keep it up there? You could put Geelong in there as well.
You've got the numbers there, haven't
Well,
you?
I have got the numbers here. So Sydney's first round picks, they've got 7. Now, a lot of them are academy. 3 of them are academy
Over
picks.
what period of time?
Well, this is in this grand final team.
This grand final team,
This
right,
grand
right.
final 23, they have 7 first-round picks. Brisbane have 10. Second-round picks, they have 6.
Whiz.
Brisbane have 2. Now, as far as trades, this is the big difference between the good clubs and the great clubs. You trade for needs, not who just pops up and, we'll try and get him. You work on players you can get over to your club.
That's why I keep asking.
That's exactly
right.
right.
Where are they going to play? Do you need them?
That's exactly right. If you look at Geelong, and we'll just look at Brisbane. So Brisbane went and got Charlie Cameron. Not bad.
Yeah, that was good.
They got Calamarchi. Now, people say, mate, he is a very good role player. He's outstanding talent. They went and got Joe Danaher. They went and got Josh Dunkley. They went and got Lockie Neal. They went and got Dane Zorko. And now,
he's good.
See what I mean? They went and got Darcy Ford as a backup for Big O, and it's proven that he's now in a grand final. I mean, that's how you get champion teams. You go through Geelong, they're the same. You know who they are, Stingel and Cameron and all that. Sydney's the same. From the year before, they needed a ruckman. Who'd they get? Grundy. They got James Jordan, and people forget they got him from Melbourne. That was a great get. Aaron Francis is another one, and Peter Leonard's not quite that. But the father-son academies, this is what's going to be the debate when this game is finished. Brisbane and Sydney have ran on the back of their academies, and the names just scare you. Blakey, Campbell, Goulden, Heaney. And if you look at Brisbane, Will Ashcroft, they're going to get his brother.
Well, that's father-son, yep.
The same.
Oh, his brother's good too.
Jack Payne, Jasper Fletcher, Harris Andrews, I can go on and on and on. So, there's no fluke when teams make a grand final. It's over a lot of years. And you've been calling it your jigsaw puzzle. You're building it, and you are, and you're getting closer and closer. You've got to hunt, chase, attract, develop, pick, retain, that's the key word, over a number of years if you want to be a premiership team.
Good call.
And you wonder why I have a little bit of angst about where I am.
Absolutely. Well said about that. 4 minutes to 6. We're going to keep taking your calls after the 6 o'clock news. We'll chat to Chelsea Bedell and Gemma Houghton as well.
The 5AA Sports Show with Rowey and Timmy G.
Unwrap Extraordinary, the St. John Christmas Home Lottery. You win, you choose. From 4 breathtaking $5 million grand prize packages. Adelaide Foothills, Melbourne's Docklands, the Gold Coast, the Rocks, Sydney Harbour. Or cash out for $4.5 million. Plus, there are 63,000 other prizes in the $10.9 million prize pool. That's a 1 in 10 chance of winning a prize. Hurry, buy your tickets now. Licence number M14618. Support your St. John Ambos. Visit stjohnlottery.com.au.
Treat your family and friends to something a little fancy from FIVEAA, your family liquor stores. Spring means fresh, vibrant flavours, and if you're partial to a white wine or two, try our selection of SA-made Pinot Grigio and Pinot Gris. Let the sun shine in and enjoy a margarita with quality tequila, or lighten up with an Aperol or Campari spritz. There are new beers to try too, with craft IPAs, Pilsners and Kolsch-style brews. FIVEAA, your local independent SA family liquor store for over 45 years.
Got a text on the unique home style food text. Rowey, Woodville West Torrens are the Crows Academy.
Huh.
Well, they're going to get a kid from Woodville West Torrens. He was a...
Woodville West Torrens have developed an incredible amount of AFL players.
I'll tell you another club that has, West Adelaide.
Yes, true. But, you know, there's... And Woodville West Torrens, not just Crows too. Port Adelaide have received a few of those as well. You know,
Well, the
Jared
Crows are going to
Polak,
get another
of course,
one.
Matty Broadbent.
Tyler Welsh, father, son.
So there you go. Definitely doing something right in the development area there.
Now, if you love cars, I think you do, well, you'd love a Mitsubishi. Of
course you
would.
would.
No question about that. And if you love a Mitsubishi, you will love the Mitsubishi Triton.
Have you seen it? Unbelievable.
Remember we went to the showroom down there at Mawson Lakes? You couldn't get me out of there.
Nah.
And you said, don't sit in it. Because you'll have to buy it.
And then
Do not take it for a test drive.
I saw you under the tarp in the back there trying not to hide. Terrible.
Yeah, there was a bit of a bow in it. But anyway, the Mitsubishi Triton, you will really love the 24 Mitsi Triton. You just will.
Correct. And especially if you're dealing with the legends at Agostino Mitsubishi.
Chris and the team.
Well, they're amazing.
They're with us tomorrow.
Yes, correct. They've been putting the smiles on the dolls of Adelaide's Mitsubishi lovers for over 35 years. So they know what they're doing. Exceptional service is the minimum.
Yeah. Never seen a bloke so small drink so much. Chris.
Oh,
we'll
right.
move on from that. He's nearly as good as you.
I thought you were looking at me.
Okay, anyway, we're getting the wind up now. With 10 years warranty and 3 year free servicing, that's right, 3 years free servicing, you won't be able to resist a test drive. You just won't.
I'll tell you what, they'll please you down at Agostino Mitsubishi, Nailsworth or Mawson Lakes. Hurry in now. Test drive the new 2024 Mitsubishi Triton today.
CMAX Clinical Research are calling all healthy adults aged 40 to 60. An exciting opportunity to contribute to medical research and trial a potential vaccine for Alzheimer's disease in Adelaide. Spend one night at CMAX and attend 7 follow-up visits to help pave the future of modern medicine. All eligible participants are paid for their time. If you're in good general health and not taking any medications other than contraception, you may be eligible. Apply today at cmax.com.au.
Catching up with family and friends at home is always a special time. Make life easy with a welcome hand from your local Barnacle Bill. It's Barnacle Bill for seafood and much, much more.
Online, on DAB Digital Radio and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Clear tonight, down to 7, sunny tomorrow 22. With the 6 o'clock news, I'm Mel Usher.
The 2024 Mitsubishi Triton comes with 10 years warranty, plus 3 years free servicing, only at Agostino Mitsubishi.
It's been another tough day for the state's tomato industry as it grapples with a plant virus. SA Tomatoes is one of the companies in quarantine with workers stood down. Operations Manager Jonathan Galligan says they want some clarity from authorities.
Where to from here? It just feels like there's not a lot of communication. Yes, I get they're trying to curb it, but we actually don't know what to do. Do we throw it away? Can we throw it away? No, we're not allowed to leave it. It has to stay in the glass house until further communication.
Shoppers are being advised to do their own research to find the best value for money at the checkout. Madeline McNeil reports.
The latest choice survey commissioned by the federal government has found products at Woolworths and Coles cost roughly the same. Once again, German-owned chain Aldi has been named the best value supermarket, while IGA came in as most expensive. The data suggests stocking up at Aldi could save the average shopper $18 compared to the other stores. But Australian Retailers Association Chief Executive Paul Zara says choice needs to be clearer about which products it's comparing.
What I do know is that 7 of the 14 items are comparing premium national brands at Coles and Woolworths with a private label brand at Aldi.
He's advising shoppers to use online tools to find the best value for money and make up their own mind on where to shop.
The Kokoda track has closed indefinitely after being blockaded by locals, forcing Australian travellers to be airlifted out of the remote Papua New Guinean jungle. Residents of a local village along the trail have used logs to construct a barrier, saying they're owed around $15 million in unpaid compensation. In 2015, it was the Super Bowl. In 2024, it's the AFL Grand Final. Katy Perry was at the MCG rehearsing today ahead of Saturday's performance. She's looking forward to singing in front of 100,000 people.
I think Australians, they like to sing along at the top of their lungs, especially after 2 beers or 3 or 4 or 5. And they are just so passionate about their sport and their community. And it feels like it's all fun and games, you know, here. Like everybody is into this kind of camaraderie and community, which is great.
A cybersecurity incident has impacted almost 24 railway stations across Britain. 10 of those are in London. It's connected to the Wi-Fi at the stations. The service is provided via a third party and has been suspended while an investigation is underway. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Collect the 2024 AFL footy cards at Sports Card World Regent Arcade, Rundle Mall.
The Swans and Lions have released their teams for the grand final. Sydney is unchanged. Logan McDonald has been named. Taylor Adams is not in the 26-man squad. We already knew captain Callum Mills was out. For Brisbane, Darcy Fort is in for Oscar McInerney. Well, giant Isaac Cumming has advised Adelaide of his desire to join the club as an unrestricted free agent. The 26-year-old has played 81 games for GWS since being drafted in 2016. Adelaide will complete the process of signing Cumming when the AFL's free agency period opens next month. Meantime, Ken Hinckley's tenure as Port coach was discussed today when footy boss Chris Davies fronted the cameras. Davies hasn't seen anything to suggest Hinckley may walk ahead of the final season of his contract.
There is nothing right now that's suggesting to me that Ken doesn't have the energy for the 2025 season. Ken does a good job, and I think any suggestion that he's not doing a good job or that our squad hasn't achieved something this year is entirely wrong.
And 2016 Premiership Bulldog Lockie Hunter has called time on his AFL career. He played for 12 seasons across Melbourne and the Western Bulldogs. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Make a big difference to your outdoor entertaining area this summer. Visit bigdifference.com.au.
A crash in Salisbury Park on Main North Road near Target Hill Road, Fulham Gardens on Grange Road near Messenger Road, Lenswood on Swamp Road near Lobethal Road, Ingle Farm has another one, Montague Road near Bridge Road, Burst Watermain Parafield Gardens on the Salisbury Highway near Sophia Street has heavy delays inbound. The MG4 is the EV for everyone. Save up to 25% and drive away now from just $30,990. Ends October 31 at your MG dealer. T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Get the Toyota Forklift Advantage. Visit toyotamaterialhandling.com.au.
Clear tonight down to 7, sunny tomorrow 22, Saturday showers developing 26, Sunday back to 18 with showers easing. Right now it's 13 degrees. Now let's check what's happening on 9 News tonight.
Thank you, I'm Brenton Raglis. Tonight, intruders with machetes have slashed a teenager at Ayr, north of Adelaide, before realising it was the wrong person. A man was shot in the leg at Burton. World first smoking laws have passed the Upper House and State Parliament. Plus, the Crow's new logo has been leaked. And don't worry, you haven't missed the news. Start over on 9 now as soon as you're home.
The news and issues that matter to South Australia. Always Adelaide. This is 5AA.
Everyday items locked in at low prices for longer. There's more ways than ever to save at Foodland.
The 5AA Sport Show, Rowey and Timmy G.
Welcome back. It's 6 after 6 on this Thursday night. The World Game is coming up at 6:30 with Stefan Moore. Looking forward to chatting football very, very shortly. And 5AA's Golf Day returns for 2024, partnering with Phil Hoffman Travel. All your favourite 5AA presenters and sporting legends will be there. Friday, the 11th of October at Glenelg Golf Club. Head to 5AA.com.au and register now. You're running out of time because tomorrow we'll award a lucky winner. Don't miss out. All thanks to Phil Hoffman Travel, creating moments you'll never forget. Visit pht.com.au for hundreds of exclusive deals.
Well, the Crows take on Brisbane. Joining us, Adelaide Crows Premiership player. She's a two-time All-Australian, Chelsea Biddle. Chelsea, welcome.
Hello, how are we?
You're 4-zip. You'd take that, wouldn't you?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Very good start to the season. We're pretty stoked with that.
Your record with Brisbane's interesting. I know you won a grand final against them, so have they, but I think they've had the wood on us over the years, haven't they?
Yeah, they have a little bit. It's a bit of a rivalry at the moment. It's always a game that we look forward to, but obviously we try not to focus too much on the past and we look to the future, so hopefully we can get over there and get it done.
Have you been squirted up forward of late?
A little bit, yeah. Round one, I played there a little bit. I think that was a little bit due to injury, but I was actually drafted as a forward, so I guess I sort of took that with me. But yeah, just little bits and bouts here and there, I guess.
Captain versatile. Oh, I felt for Eloise Jones. She pinged an Achilles, didn't she?
Yeah, ruptured her Achilles, unfortunately, but she's had surgery and all's going well there.
Good.
So yeah.
Hey, Chelsea, you guys had a terrific season last year. I think you only lost one game in the minor round before falling in the prelim. But how have you compared to your start to this season compared to the last?
It's obviously as good a start as we can have. Obviously, last season we didn't quite get to where we wanted to go. Only just lost the prelim. But, hopefully, this year, given the start that we have, we put ourselves in a bigger position to hopefully take it one step further this year, but we'll see what happens.
Just the way you're playing, I suppose style-wise, has there been any major changes to the way you're going about it?
Nothing major. We just want to play, I guess, fun, fast footy. So hopefully if we put a bit of speed on the game, we've got some weapons on the wings and we've got a bit of speed in the midfield. So, we just want to play a bit faster, I guess, and stretch the ground and then hopefully get out the back of our opponents.
Are you hard to score against, Chelsea?
I hope so, yeah.
Well, that was the
yeah.
improvement I think you needed from last year in the final, certainly, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think, our defensive structures come together really well. Obviously, having Chelsea Randall back there has really helped in terms of that intercepting and stopping opponents from scoring as well.
Yeah, no, well done, Chelsea. You got Brisbane. Ipswich, how far north is that from Brisbane?
It's a fair drive, I think.
Okay.
In previous times we've played there, it's usually a pretty decent bus ride, but about an hour or so, I'd say.
Okay, so you fly in and then you get a bus up.
Yeah, so we fly in. We usually stay. Yeah, I don't know where we stay, where we're staying this year, but I think last year we usually stay at Gold Coast, I think, and then we bus from there.
Okay. Well, Chels, big game, Brisbane. We want to go 5 zippity-doo-dah day. All the best, and thanks for your time.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
Great work, Chelsea Biddle there, Adelaide Crows Premiership player.
Well, Port Adelaide take on Carlton this Sunday at Alberton, 4:35 p.m. One of their stars on the line, Gemma Houghton. G'day, Gemma.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Hey, Gem, we're off to a bit of a shaky start there. It's a bit of a tight schedule we've got going on. We've got to play 3 games in 9 days. We took on North Melbourne and Richmond, 2 of the sort of better sides, and had losses, and then we got Carlton this Sunday. How is everybody recovering?
Yeah, we had our review today, and a light sort of flushed through. So a few of the girls have pulled up sore, and our bodies are definitely feeling it with the quick turnaround. But yeah, we just obviously have our eyes set now to Sunday at home against Carlton.
Absolutely. So in some of the games previously in Richmond, I think there was a bit of rain. Did we handle the wet conditions okay? Because they seem to handle it pretty well.
Yeah, I think, we've addressed that we have started sort of, even in the North Melbourne game, we were slow to sort of start, and we finished really well. So our second half against North and our second half against Richmond, we matched them, if not beat them in those quarters. So for us, our focus is purely on our starts, and we know that we can go for the 4 quarters. It's purely just how we start and getting on the front foot, not the back foot.
So do we need to set the alarm clock earlier? Is that what we need to do?
I don't know if it's the alarm clock, maybe some more. The thing is, we train on a sunny day and we get the rain at night. So
yes,
I think maybe some wet footy.
Yeah, classic. Who do you reckon's the best team you've played so far?
I'd have to definitely say, I'd say North. And they've been good for a number of years.
Yes.
And given that they fell short in the grand final last year, they've got that hunger. And I just think, watching them last night against Carlton, they're definitely a team that will play finals and no doubt, be hungry for the grand final.
Are you in an aviary, Gemma? I can hear birds in the background.
I'm actually at Alberton. We're at Alberton. So
there you go.
Well, you have got a lot of salmon gums there, a lot of parrots zooming around. Now, I've read your resume, an outstanding career to date, running up BNF last year. We knew that. You're a West Aussie, but yet you grew up barracking for Port Adelaide. How did that happen, Gemma?
Yeah, it was crazy. So obviously women's footy wasn't really around when I was younger, so I played basketball, but I'd play in the park with my brother, and actually some neighbourhood kids were our friends growing up, Tyler and Jordan Paul, and they were mad Port Adelaide fans. So when I was year 6 and year 7, I sort of just jumped on the bandwagon with them, and we'd play in the park, and we'd pretend to be Port Adelaide and verse my brother who pretended to be West Coast. So that's crazy to think that 15 years later, AFLW would start and move on forward. I'd be playing for Port Adelaide.
How good is that? That's a great story. When you move to Adelaide, not many leave. Are you enjoying Adelaide?
I actually am. I love the quietness of Adelaide compared to Perth, but I will say I miss the Perth beaches.
Gemma, yes.
Yeah.
So you a Scarborough girl, a Triggs girl, or a City Beach girl, or a Cottesloe?
Yeah, Cottesloe.
It is a good spot.
Well, Cottesloe's where the Audi-Torties go.
You're still doing a little bit of work down at the Western Hospital, Gem?
No, I'm not actually. I left just before pre-season started. I wanted to fully focus on footy, and at my age, you need all the recovery you can get.
Oh, fair enough too, mate. Hey, what areas do you think we need to just polish up a little bit before we play Carlton?
I think we just need to go back to our basics. And I know it sounds really simple, but we just have to go back to what works for us and trust ourselves a bit more. We've done so much hard work in the pre-season, in the off-season, and we've got some young, great talent that, you see Molly Booksby on the wing, against Richmond. And Goody's shown a lot this season already. So I think we just have to trust ourselves a bit more, go back to basics and just get that belief back, because I felt like we've had it round 1, round 2, and I think it's really how you bounce back from those losses. And we, obviously, again, playing back home in Alberton in front of our home crowd always gets us up ready to go. So we're looking forward to that on Sunday.
How are we covering the loss of the skipper? It was terrible to see Janelle go down. How are we covering that at the moment?
Yeah, and that's huge. Like, obviously, JC is an amazing, athlete, and what she's done for our program in the off season and how she came in. So unfortunate to see her go down. But we've had some, Juicy acting, or Justine Mills acting captain for us, and I think even in the back line, you look at Borgie, she's just come out and really stood up and used her voice as, this is only her 3rd year in AFLW. So just to see her come out in her strides, and then it's a big sort of gap to fill when your captain goes down. But we've got a lot of young girls coming up who are just, such time in that leadership sort of area as well, that just give everything they can to us groups.
Yeah, you're one of the leaders down there yourself. You play Carlton this Sunday at Alberton, the AFL Grand Final Saturday. Will you watch it as a team? And what's your tip, Gemma? Give us your insight.
Yeah, well, there will be a group of us watching the game, and no doubt getting an early sleep straight after. But my tip will be Sydney, and I'm going Heaney for Norm Smith.
Oh, there you go, Gem. Wow.
Yeah.
He's had a magnificent finals campaign.
Yeah. Well, mate, you don't worry about that anyway.
Good judge,
you get
Gemma.
your head down, get it on the pillow, get your recovery ready, and you absolutely rip Carlton apart on Sunday, all right, mate?
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for having me, guys.
Excellent. Gemma Houghton, our guest, Port Adelaide superstar in the AFLW, and I've been picked up again. Apparently I called Gemma mate, and you know what? That's okay, because she is a mate.
No, hang on.
Port Adelaide, mate. I'm allowed to say it.
You did it twice.
Oh, at least
Caro
twice.
told you off, so that was just after
twice.
5, so you haven't learned, have you?
No, I called... who else did I call mate and I got in trouble for it? Caro, it was.
I don't like being mated.
Well, I'll tell you what happened.
There was a CEO of the Crows that used to mate me a bit, and I didn't like it.
No. I say it in a genuine... I say it in a genuine term.
Yeah.
But I was... years ago, I worked at Belfast, you know that.
Yes.
And during my footy career. And I was only about 21 years of age, and I'd just got an office job, and I was pretty excited about it. At, the white shirt and the tie.
You had an office job?
Wow. Yeah.
Oh,
so
get out. Your own office, or were you with shared?
No, shared.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I was with a friend.
If you had your own office.
Anyway, the managing director, he came out of his office, came into ours, and asked me a question about, the stocks I used to be purchasing. Anyway, I told him, and I said, yeah, mate, we got plenty of that and plenty of this, mate. No worries, all right. Anyway, he goes, yep, all right, thanks, Tim. And he walked out. Anyway, my boss, who was next door, he heard it all, came rushing in. I said, listen here, you don't call the managing director of Balfour's mate. And I just copping the spray, and then all of a sudden behind him came the managing director, and he said, hey, leave my mate alone.
Oh, well done.
So I'm allowed to do it. There you go.
No, well, that's good enough for me.
Everyone's a mate at Timmy's. It's 17 after 6.
The 5AA Sports Show with Rowey and Timmy G.
Calling all car fans. Need your weekly motoring fix? Join me, Charlie Dixon, Wednesday nights from 6:30 for Driving with Dixon. We talk about all things motoring, cars, car events, racing, anything motoring.
Thanks to Louver House, the leaders in transforming your outdoor space into a great entertainment area with an opening and closing roof.
So join me Wednesday nights for Driving with Dixon. Only on $13.95, Adelaide's 5AA.
Every day, a passionate team works hard to maintain one of the world's most immaculate playing surfaces, Adelaide Oval. And now, they're available to you. If you're in charge of an oval, sporting field or community space, you can trust the renowned Adelaide Oval grounds team. Adelaide Oval Turf Solutions brings its expertise to any green space, and they'll work to your budget. From turf curation and construction to maintenance and repair, we'll give you the base for you to build on. Search Adelaide Oval Turf Solutions today.
When you book a hearing test with Can Do Hearing, you'll be seen by an accredited audiologist. Can Do Hearing is South Australian, and we're not owned by a hearing aid manufacturer. This means we only recommend what's going to work for you, and your options are almost endless. Plus the extra bonus, our profits go to Can Do for Kids, supporting local kids living with hearing and vision loss. Book an appointment with Can Do Hearing today. candohearing.com.au. That sounds better.
Well, Foodland stores, they're local, they're independently owned supermarkets. There's over 90 stores across our great state. They are indeed the mighty South Aussies. They're passionate about providing great food and all your favourite brands, along with some of the best supermarket experiences in the world. Now, you think you just throw that in as just a word, but they win Supermarket of the World year on year.
Well, you know, Rowey, I used to try and avoid the shopping time. You know, wife say, I'm going shopping or whatever, and I try and avoid it, right? Well, now, no. I go because the experience at Foodland is outstanding. I do have to go down separate aisles and not cramp her style while she's going under an hour. But Foodland are passionate about providing their customers with fresh local produce, full range of groceries, personalised service, competitive prices, great value. Always lives at Foodland. So don't forget, check your letterbox. Did that today, got hold of their catalogues, and I do that each and every week. But, you know, if you don't want to take it out of your letterbox, you can get it straight to your inbox. How good's that?
That is good. When fresh really counts, great food lives at Foodland. They are the mighty South Aussies.
Buying your first home? Yep, we know it's daunting. Where do you start? What's your borrowing power? How much deposit do you need? Not to worry. Aussie will take you through it all. We'll get to know your needs, work out what's possible and how to make it happen. Get the ball rolling with your local Aussie broker. Our help's always free and 30 minutes could make all the difference. Visit aussie.com.au to book in a time or find out more. Chat to us at Aussie today. Australian Credit Licence 246786.
Phantom Screens are the only manufacturer that make outdoor blinds up to 12 metres long. More than enough for an outdoor entertainment kitchen, a petting zoo, most of a bowling alley, and a historically accurate Viking longbow. Since 1995, Phantom Screens have been improving homes with top quality, powder-coated, aluminium-framed, retractable screens. Whatever space you have, there's a Phantom Screen for you at phantomscreens.com.au.
Get ready for footy finals with Ladbrokes. Jump on the trending bets with a popular same-game multi. Plus, now you can fast-track your picks with new stats and results from the last 5 games. Chances are you're about to lose.
Everyday items locked in at low prices for longer. There's more ways than ever to save at Foodland.
The 5AA Sports Show, Rowey and Timmy G.
22 minutes after 6, the World Game with Stefan Mork right around the corner. And of course, tomorrow night, it's going to be a pretty exciting build-up to the Grand Final. And Leith Forrest is bringing back our Grand Vinyl Eve show. He'll play all your favourite footy and Grand Final tracks right here on 5AA from 7 till 10 o'clock Friday night. All thanks to Clarity Records, your fully independent record store serving the local music community for over 14 years. Clarity Records at 60 Pulteney Street if you want to go find them, just by the junction of Rundle Street and Rundle Mall. We know, of course, speaking of music in the footy grand final, Katy Perry is going to be there on the big day at the MCG.
And when you're describing AFL to your friends back home, how do you describe it?
Like our Super Bowl, there's not a lot of difference because I think Australians, they like to sing along at the top of their lungs, especially after 2 beers or 3 or 4 or 5. Everything's so much more spectacular, and it will be a true specky.
She's been tooled up.
Using the vernacular. I like it.
What was the other one she did? Reach and stretch?
No,
stretch before you reach?
Stretch before you reach.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Bit
don't
like
get
a
those
rabbit
two mixed up.
coming out of its hole. It's
Never
got
stretches.
Never.
No,
just
explodes.
Bang, off it goes. I like this one. I think she'll be great. You know, Katy Perry got 4 songs. That's it.
Yeah.
Nolan. That's it. That one. It's easy to.
You reckon she's only got 4 songs?
Well, no. Well, let me rephrase
All
it.
that he knows.
I reckon
that's right.
it's easy to pick her 4 songs. Now, I had a little bit of a debate with Stacey Lee.
Yep, fair
so I
enough.
don't know, let's pick an artist. Oh, here's one, Bruce Springsteen.
Yep.
Couldn't pick his top 4. Neil
Okay,
Diamond
so,
couldn't pick
okay.
his top 4.
You know why?
Beatles couldn't pick their top 4.
It's subjective, that's why. Everybody.
What do you mean?
It's subjective because my top 4 Beatles songs will be different to your top 4 Beatles songs. And I think also it depends on how I'm feeling that day. You know, like a day like today, if you woke up in the morning and had Here Comes the Sun playing, you'd go, oh, that's excellent. That's making me feel good. Because
I get what you're saying.
It's
but if you're at the grand final and the vibe's up there, you're not going to be playing Paul McCartney's soppy songs.
Well, that's...
You want uppity songs.
And he did a few of those as well. But you know what? Last year, Kiss were perfect. They did that 4 blockbuster songs.
That's it. They only had 4 songs.
They ripped it out. Well, they had more than that. But they ripped them out and they didn't do any rock ballads or anything. They just hit the big ones and off we go.
Not big on dress-ups.
Oh, you're not? Okay.
No, I've never been a fan of them.
All right.
Well, earlier today, Katie had a little tease for our footy fans.
I will be singing I Kissed a Girl with an Australian artist that you don't know about.
When does that get revealed?
Saturday on the stage.
Now, it could be Kylie Minogue, but Kylie's a bit too good for her.
Okay. I beg your pardon. I mean, that's what do you mean she's too good for her?
Kylie Minogue would
Kylie's outstanding.
Katy
no doubt,
Perry
but Katy
would not carry her high heels.
That's a bit harsh.
Her thongs. Kylie Minogue came into the 2000 bloody thing on a bloody thong.
Nothing more Aussie than that.
Nothing more Aussie than that.
We can reveal the surprise because Channel 7's Nick McCallum got the scoop tonight.
Joined by Tina Arena. A short time ago at the MCG, a full dress rehearsal for the international superstar.
There you
Young
go.
talent times, Tina Arena.
Yes, she can sing. I mean, she's got an amazing voice. So I reckon that'll go down all right.
Will it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, she can sing. And she's done many a stadium performance as well. So, no, she's an absolute pro. No worries.
So you reckon they'll get the lipstick? Stacey, say it for me. What's the stuff you put on your lip? Lip gloss?
Chapstick.
Oh, you know what it is, Sam.
We all know
He's just hovering over the dump button.
I'm worried about what's coming next.
I don't know what chapstick is. Let's talk football. That's
better.
Stay in your lane, Stephen. Here's Craig McRae. Have a listen, Collingwood Judge.
I'm a coach that wants to bring players in. And now I said that at the end of the season. Now it's hard. It's such a hard market, but I don't want picks. I say to the list management committee, I don't want picks, I want players. Come on, let's bring players in and make us better, not just any player, players that are going to make us better. And so we're somewhat deliberate of that.
See, I love that.
Did he say pigs?
No, picks.
Oh,
picks,
good.
Picks.
I thought, geez, that's a bit harsh.
So what do you want to call it? You want to call it a theory? You want to call it a strategy?
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Every senior coach would set the parameters for the list management team. So his is clearly, I don't give a stuff about picks. If I get a high one, I'll try and use it on a kid if it's there. But I want to go out and get people. He's in on Perryman. He's on all sorts of players.
All right.
And they're a club of what you would call destination.
Yeah.
You play with 80,000 at the MCG.
Club of choice.
You don't leave Melbourne more than 4 times a year. They're a club of choice. So he can pick players. I like John Longmire. His strategy is I want to get players that can make good decisions under pressure. I know that. And you look at them, tick that box. The other one's Chris Scott. He wants competitors and good characters.
But that theory about just bringing players in, it's absolutely flawed when you read out those stats about Sydney and Brisbane. Go back to
first rounders,
all the first rounders that are in there, running them up.
Yeah. I think what
they also traded in great players too.
And that's the thing. It's a balance. And
that's
it's
exactly
an absolute
right.
balance of getting all of that right. As he said, it's not easy. That's why the great list managers and teams, because it's not one person again, the teams that get it right, but they work so hard at getting the needs and getting them in, and like you said, being able to attract them and retain them.
But that's exactly right, and it is whole of club. It's all those moving parts. It's never ever just the one thing. But I think his philosophy is simply this: if I need a half-back flanker, I can go to the draft, or I can go and get Dan Houston. Go and get me Dan Houston because I know what he can do.
Well, coach always wants it now.
But that's exactly right. So I'm asking myself, what's my club strategy?
Okay.
And I might go to bed on that and have a good hard
Have a good think, and we'll talk about it tomorrow.
And then tomorrow I'll come back with it. And it might be a sound effect along like...
You got a big day tomorrow live from Melbourne as we prepare for Grand Final on Grand Final Eve. We have the World Game next with Stephen Moore.
Rowey and Timmy G on the 5AA Sports Show. David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
This is the biggest story in South Australia right now. Quarantines have been slapped on 3 South Australian tomato farms to stop the